The views and opinions of the host and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. The government to expand shantytown demolitions. Works Minister Bannister saying they are ready and mobilized. The police commissioner defending the fire department after the Jenny Street blaze. And in our discussion in Morning Blend Business, we resume, we continue with part 2 on Are You Ready for Cruise Porting and the opportunities from a cultural perspective, expanding it from our discussion on Junkanoo yesterday. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's there. It's the start of the end of the old way. Revolution. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Wednesday, May 5th, 2021. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Chester Robards will be joining us. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, the demolition of unauthorized structures in the farm shantytown in Apico set to continue this week. That's according to Minister of Public Works Desmond Bannister, who noted yesterday that he's concerned about the health and safety issues the buildings pose. He said that once demolition in the farm is complete, the teams will move on to other shantytowns. Bannister said occupied buildings in the farm will be demolished this week in Phase 3 of the government's plan to get rid of unauthorized structures in the area. Meanwhile, Works Minister Bannister also saying that if there are power cuts as a result of an issue that BPL is experiencing with fuel for its engines, they will likely be short. He told the media yesterday they don't anticipate that there will be widespread outages. This was a day after BPL said in a statement that it was experiencing issues with fuel logistics at the Blue Hills power plant and that there could be outages as a result. Bannister said it was unclear how much money the issues have cost BPL so far, but assured that the supplier is reputable and has always responded well to any challenges. After fighting structural fire on Fritz Lane and 7th Terrace for nearly 3 hours, police say they discovered the charred remains of a body that was burned beyond recognition inside the building. Assistant Commissioner of Police Audley Peters saying yesterday that firefighters responded to the blaze around 3 a.m. When they arrived, firefighters met a 2-story structure engulfed in flames. Shortly after 6 a.m., Peters says the fire was extinguished. He said firefighters then entered the building and found the charred remains of a body outside a bathroom door. A resident of one of the apartments said she lost everything after the fire ripped through the building. And Police Commissioner Paul Roll defending the fire department's handling of a recent blaze on Jenny Street that destroyed 6 homes and damaged 4 others. The fire happened around 3 p.m. on Sunday. Some residents and onlookers complained that firefighters ran out of water and claimed that a fire truck came to the scene with no water. Roll saying that the official position of the police commissioner is that the trucks left with water, and he questioned why would firefighters send out a truck without water. National Security Minister Marvin Dames says the public should not read into a Royal Bahamas Defense Force memo, not read much into it. That memo asking its department heads to prepare for the possibility of an early general election. He said the decision to prepare ahead of time is not unusual and does not speak to the likelihood of an early election. Dames also saying that the Advisory Committee of the Prerogative of Mercy has been receiving hundreds of applications for clemency each month. As he noted, the ministry is continuing efforts to alleviate overcrowding in the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services. Asked how many applications are being received on a monthly basis, Dames says it was in the hundreds. Dames also encouraged people to apply for expungement of their criminal records. Overseas, India's government facing calls for a strict lockdown to slow a devastating surge in new coronavirus cases, and a court in New Delhi today will decide whether to punish officials for failing to end a 2-week-old erratic supply of oxygen to overstretched hospitals. With 382,315 new cases, India's tally has risen to more than 20.6 million since the pandemic began. The Health Ministry on Wednesday today also reporting 3,780 deaths in the last 24 hours, bringing the total to 226,188. Experts believe both figures are an undercount. A leader of an opposition party saying this week that a lockdown is now the only option because of a complete lack of strategy by the government. The New Delhi High Court will decide whether to press contempt charges against officials for defying its order to meet oxygen requirements of more than 40 hospitals in the capital. Those found guilty face 6 months in prison or a fine. The court summoned 2 Home Ministry officials for Wednesday's hearing. And ambassadors from the World Trade Organization today resuming discussions on trade rules protecting the technological know-how behind COVID-19 vaccines amid growing pressure on rich nations to relax them as a way to help poorer countries fight the pandemic. The WTO's General Counsel was taking up a temporary waiver for intellectual property protections that South Africa and India first proposed in October. The idea has gained support in the developing world and among some progressive lawmakers in the West. Authors of the proposal, which has faced resistance from many countries with influential pharmaceutical and biotech industries, have been revising it in hopes of making it more palatable. No consensus, which is required under WTO rules, was expected to emerge from the ambassadors' 2-day meeting today and tomorrow. Co-sponsors of the idea, shuttling between different diplomatic missions to make their case, according to a Geneva trade official. Deadlock persists, though, and opposing sides remain far apart on the matter. Some proponents saw more hope for the proposal after U.S. President Joe Biden's top trade official said last month that gaping inequities in access to COVID-19 vaccines between developed and developing countries were completely unacceptable and that mistakes made in the global response to the HIV pandemic must not be repeated. In sports, and what was the first international swim meet for a team of Bahamian swimmers, the athletes didn't disappoint as they turned in national record performances and personal best times at the recently concluded UANA, the Swimming Union of the Americas, Tokyo qualifier in Florida. Devontae Carey broke the 100 meters and the 200-meter backstroke national records in his first long course meet of the season. Marvin Johnson went on to break the 100-meter and 200-meter freestyle national records in the 13 to 14 boys age category. And Isaac Bastien was able to snag a silver medal for his performance in the 50-meter breaststroke and a bronze in the 100-meter breast. Giving his assessment of the Bahamian swimmers at the meet, Bahamas Aquatics Federation President Algernon Cargill saying he was delighted. You can read more about his comments and the performance of Team Bahamas in today's Guardian Sports section. And overseas from the NBA, the Bucks rally in the fourth to beat the Nets 124-118 to clinch a playoff spot. Only just over a week and a half to go in the regular season in the NBA. That's sports. And that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your weather for today, we've got high pressure across the islands. That's going to begin to retreat eastwards through tonight. Beachgoers in the southeast Bahamas should exercise caution due to the risk of rip currents along eastern shorelines. For the northwest and central Bahamas today, look for variably cloudy and hot conditions with isolated showers and the slight chance of an isolated thunderstorm in the extreme northwest Bahamas today, turning warm tonight. Winds east-southeast to south-southeast at 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet. For the southeast Bahamas, mostly sunny, warm, and breezy with a few light passing showers today, becoming mostly fair and a bit breezy tonight. A small craft caution is in effect. Winds easterly at 15 to 20 knots, decreasing to 15 knots by tonight. Seas 4 to 6 feet, but subsiding to 3 to 5 feet by tonight. It's 77 degrees right now in Nassau under fair skies. Look for highs getting up to around 88 Fahrenheit, 31 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 73 Fahrenheit, 23 Celsius. Got a cold front approaching. What's that going to mean? We'll tell you about that coming up in the extended outlook after traffic in just a few minutes. You are listening to Morning Blend. When we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on your home for fresh news and smart talk all day. Guardian Radio 96.9.
Gran, it was good to see you, but we've got to get home.
Yep, we've got to let the dog out.
Speaking of dogs, you won't believe who I saw the other day.
Who?
Honey.
Remember Anton, Jeanette's oldest boy? The one with the dogs.
With local claims managers, we pay your motor claims fast. We're like a goodbye at your granny's that doesn't take 30 minutes.
Me,
We really got to get going.
So soon?
CG Atlantic Agents. Insurance, health, pensions, life. Good like that. Nassau Insurance Brokers and Agents Limited, trading as CG Atlantic Agents.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Revolution. Wake up, it's a new day. 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 Wake up, wake up.
Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for your smart devices, also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 or BTC Flow Channel 612. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Chester Robards.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Great to have you with us.
Good to be here.
Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, good.
It's May already.
Wow.
Almost halfway
through
the year.
It's crazy.
This is insane. But, oh boy. Anyway, hope everybody's doing well this
And
morning.
May 5th is Cinco de Mayo. Yo. We can be happy about that. You know, Bahamians take their Cinco de Mayo seriously.
You know, which is very strange.
No, it's not.
Very strange. I mean, if you like tequila.
We adopt all those things.
We adopt everything, but we
Yeah.
don't seem to celebrate our own things that much.
No.
So, okay. Happy Cinco de Mayo, I guess. I mean, it's not even Mexican independence. Right?
Did
It's
you
some
even
weird
celebrate
thing.
Star Wars Day yesterday?
Absolutely not.
Wow.
Why would I do that? I don't
You're
have
a
time to
hater.
waste.
You're a hater.
I don't have time to waste. But, I mean, not that I'm not going to have tequila today, but I'm just saying, Cinco de Mayo, what is that to me? It's not even,
Yes.
if we're Mexican
Yes,
independence,
nothing.
I would say, yeah, let's do it. But it's some bizarre little war between Mexico and the U.S. What's that got to do with me? What?
It's about the tacos.
Clearly.
It's about the tacos.
Clearly.
That's it.
Okay, well, we could do
It's
that any day.
chimichanga night, okay?
We could do that
That's
any
it.
day. But anyway, if you are celebrating it, enjoy and be safe. Please, for God's sake, be safe and remember what we're dealing with. What we're dealing with. That's still here. All right. Okay. Coming up today, a lot to get to. You can join the conversation as well. You can join us on Twitter at MorningBlend969 or Facebook, facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Email us morningblend@nasguard.com, or you can text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-GR96, 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Coming up this morning, more weather and traffic. And throughout the show, we're going to be talking about all the things in the news. A lot to get to this morning again. And then in our 9 o'clock hour, Morning Blend Business Hour, we're going to continue the conversation from yesterday. Yesterday, we focused on Junkanoo, the opportunities for Junkanoo to get exposure as a result of home porting and other initiatives the cruise lines are putting in place with port developments here and in Grand Bahama, and the opportunities that this can present to showcase Junkanoo in a better way. Today we're expanding that discussion to culture. Still people coming up to us and calling yesterday apparently not aware of what this home porting deal is all about.
Really?
And it's very surprising.
People don't know about home porting?
People don't know what? And they think it's just the cruise ship staying. As they always do.
Like overnighting?
Yeah, that's not what it is. So we need to keep talking about this. And I don't know if you're hearing it, Chester. Are you hearing people talk about what they hope to do and how they plan to reposition themselves to take advantage of these opportunities, knowing that there could be a whole lot more people coming to town and spending more time here before they board a cruise or after they finish their cruise? You're hearing people saying,
No.
Right.
No.
Exactly.
I'm in the know about the entities that are trying to get those people to do something.
Right.
But I'm not hearing about the people who are doing something or plan to do something.
Yeah. What do you think that means? That they aren't doing it because they
No.
don't know, or they just are just feeling helpless and not knowing
I
or
don't
understanding
think
the realities?
It might just be that they don't understand the realities. And how to, it could just be that they've been out of the game so long that they don't know how to get back into the swing of things well.
Yeah.
But cruise lines want a lot for people who want to interact with them as well. So
in terms of Money?
Well, no, not just money, but money as well. But, insurance and those kinds of things that you have to have in place.
And
if you're dealing directly with the cruise lines.
And you don't have to.
Right, correct.
You can position, as I've said earlier, maybe your food truck somewhere downtown where they have to see it. If they're going to the ship or coming from the ship or downtown exploring.
But
you get permission for that.
Well, the reality of the situation is your cruise lines are going to tell you, here are some sanctioned things that we know for sure that we've checked are safe. That, they following the COVID protocols and guidelines.
Right.
And so don't use anything other than those.
Yeah.
They're going to do that. That's what cruise lines do.
They will. But I don't know. You've done cruises before.
Yeah.
I mean, some people don't listen.
They don't listen.
Right.
Yeah.
You go and do your own thing.
Right.
And you want a more authentic experience.
But we've not dealt with this during COVID. So
that is true.
That could be.
Right. So we're going to talk about all of that. There's a lot to talk about, a lot to think about, a lot of opportunities. And we need more people involved in the discussion. We're not hearing enough at all. And the first cruise line starts their home boarding next month.
Next month.
Early next month. My goodness. I mean, we should have been here a long time ago. But anyway, we got some work to do before that happens. So we're going to be talking about all of that this morning. So a lot to get to this morning. But let's begin with what's in the news. And in the news, before we get to that, a couple of messages coming in. I'm not sure what they are. Well, one person's asking you, Chester, what is a chimichanga? Okay, that's well, you could Google it.
Yeah,
but you don't have the spelling right. I can tell you that now. but
it's a sloppy burrito.
Yeah, with a lot of cheese on it.
Yeah,
right? And it's in a sauce. This is a sauce, right? Isn't it very?
Yeah, it's very saucy.
Wet.
It's very saucy.
It's like a tomato-based sauce. Or
yeah,
something?
yeah.
And lots of stuff inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have a heart disease,
I was just gonna say,
stay away.
Stop your heart food. That's what it is.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. All right. Especially if you're going to be drinking today. All right. What I don't understand this text. What's going on with the media being shut out from press releases from the government? I don't know what you mean by that. That's
is that
not
somebody
happening.
from the media?
I don't know what's happening. I don't think. Well, not us. I can tell you that now. But I don't get it. What do you give us some more information? What do you mean that's not what's going on? All right, and then somebody's asking about BPL. We're going to get to that in just a moment. Want to begin, though, with just quickly mentioning the headline in today's Nassau Guardian, government to expand shantytown demolitions. Bannister saying that they're ready, they're mobilized and ready to go. Our Rachel Scott writing about it. The demolition of unauthorized structures in the farm shantytown set to continue this week. Minister of Public Works Desmond Bannister saying this yesterday, noting that he's concerned about the health and safety issues the buildings pose. He said that once demolition in the farm is complete, the teams will move on to other shantytowns. He said, quote, when we finish there, we are going to go to other shantytowns too. He said the occupied buildings in the farm will be demolished this week in Phase 3 of the government's plan to get rid of unauthorized structures. He says Thursday makes 28 days, and we couldn't go into occupied structures until 28 days had passed. And so we're going into this third phase beginning this week. Our people are mobilized and ready to do what they have to do. I've tried not to speak too much on this because of the dignity of persons involved and wanting to protect their dignity, but at the same time, we're going to enforce the law as is required in this country. I'm very concerned about the health issues impacting our people as a result of what I see out there, and you can be assured that in the next week or so, you're going to see some action that is going to happen. All right. In 2018, the government announced that all shanty towns in the country would be demolished. It subsequently gave residents of most shanty towns in New Providence until August 10th, 2018, to leave before demolition, and residents in shanty towns on Abaco were given until the end of July 2019. But in August 2018, as you will recall, Supreme Court Justice Cheryl Grant Thompson granted an injunction preventing the demolition of shantytowns on Abaco, though shantytowns were among the hardest hit communities during Hurricane Dorian in September 2019. And the ruins of many of the communities were cleared by the government in the aftermath of the storm, but some people were still living in the farm shantytown at the time, and as a result, those structures were protected by the injunction. Bannister noting, though, that in the aftermath of Dorian, a ban was issued on the construction of new buildings in shantytowns. He said the buildings set to be demolished this week are in violation of that ban, and the only structures that will remain untouched are those that are still standing immediately after Dorian. All right, and he goes on to say, quote, the court ordered that nobody was supposed to go and construct any shantytown, any structures. It was very clear. There's an injunction against building any structures that's been in place for almost 2 years. So how do we get hundreds of houses and hundreds of structures with people living in them in violation of the law? Then if they sit there for a couple of years, believe me, they're going to be able to go to the Supreme Court and get certificates of title to that land and own that land. You as a Bahamian can't do that. You want to go out there and be able to acquire your land properly, own it properly in accordance with the law, and live in a safe manner. This has been an ongoing issue in this country for so many years, and it continues, but yeah, he's asking the same questions many people ask here every day on the show, right? If I were to do this, it wouldn't end so well for me. And why are other people allowed to do it?
Is this a resolution, though?
That is
to the problem?
A very good question. And as people have said, including the human rights activists, where will they go? What happens now? And especially in Abaco with a housing shortage, a major crisis they're having there, especially since Dorian. What happens now? So we will see. You can tell us what you think about that. Text us 422-4796. Or you can call us 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us or Facebook us as well. Somebody's asking where I'm having my tequila and the naming a place. I'm doing that in the comfort and safety of my home. What's happening here? What's this text all about? This one says, you keep putting it on the people. There's garbage everywhere. Downtown still has those burnt-out, run-down buildings. Where are the leaders you elected to organize so Bahamians can benefit from home porting?
Oh, that message is all over the place. What?
I'm still processing it.
Oh.
Okay. Okay. So the leaders, yeah. So what are you going to do? Just what? Nothing until the leaders do something? I don't understand.
Wait on that.
Okay.
Wait on that.
So the same jewelry stores and T-shirt shops will be the ones who capitalize, and the non-Bahamian restaurants serving everything but Bahamian food will be the ones that do the best during this time. And people will say, oh, Nassau's like every other place I've ever been to in the world, and I don't see what's so special about that place compared to Aruba or Barbados or all the other West Indian ports. And they'll say, I don't care if I ever go there again. And that's what's been happening.
Excursions. People they want excursions. They want stuff to do. You know, we had a very popular walking tour downtown, walking food tour. You know, those things need to come back. But like they say, downtown's a bit of where you put them right now.
Yeah.
Because there's no tourists from cruise ships.
That hasn't helped.
So,
you
know, it's a chicken and egg situation right now downtown.
Right. Well, especially because east of East Street is so bad. Perhaps that is where we could put up some food carts or food trucks or have some interesting excursions start from there.
Are the landowners going to agree to those things?
They don't. Who gives a what? Do you care about anything? Clearly you don't. You've not done anything here in decades. Your building is trash. So who cares? We're planting this truck right in front of your building. Who cares?
I agree.
You're lucky we haven't demolished it and taken it from you.
It is nice, or Tell
Right?
Hurricane Bannister that while he's at it in Abaco, check east of East Street.
It's probably worse than the show. Oh boy. Anyway, but we have to stop waiting, folks. This is the time.
It's not
right.
about that. It's just too difficult to deal with the figures that own those properties for government. They're too close. All of those people in government are too close.
Okay. Anyway, all right, let's get your views on the Shantytown situation. Then we're going to move on to some other things in the news. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
A godly day to this dark universe. Also, I want to say to all those children in which I are taught, don't forget the sixth commandment. God doesn't want you to kill. Now, Dwight, and Chester would say.
Very good. How you doing?
Right. Now, the thing is, you mentioned those shanty towns and people doesn't have any where people going to live. That's not our responsibility. You went there illegal, so I'm supposed to take my money and encourage you to, knowing that you've done things illegal, and encourage you to continue. Find some place to go, because it's not my responsibility to give you a place to live. It's not government responsibility. Find a place to live. That's the decent thing for any young man or young woman to do. Other point is, right, Law 23 on Spence Street off Mason's edition of Mason Street. I've been complaining to Public Works and the police from that time. The building, the guys build places on the property is a small piece of property, is a fire hazard. And I would hope that government do something with that also. That's a small shanty town. And that's coming in from Bremen, Darling, Folkestone. Thank you, Dwight.
Okay. All right. I don't know what just happened. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
You know, you hit the nail on the head when you said we're going to appear to be just like anywhere else in the West Indies.
Mm.
And think about this for a minute.
Oh, it's already happening.
Yes. We've systematically removed what is unique to our country. If you visit, and I have taken Caribbean cruises, and then you come here and you hear and see the same activity, what sense does it make?
Yeah.
You see, our out islands are going to be the only refuge. The Abaco model before Dorian and Bimini model was where you came and you stayed with the people to people in small, niche, boutique resorts that were owned by Bahamians. We got the money from the food and beverage, from the bedroom. We owned every part of tourism. Now we're being divested slowly of our tourism product, and they're building what they think is what they want the tourist to have. A tourist doesn't want to come to Nassau to see an amphitheater. They can have that from Australia to New York to anywhere they go.
Well, it depends on what they see there.
Well,
if you put on
a
Broadway show or something that they can see in Vegas, then, yeah, what's the point of that? But if it's authentically Bahamian.
And how much money stays in our hands? See, a boat brags it made $10 billion, and we sold some T-shirts. And only the elite of us sold the T-shirts, you see? But if we put that, we need to talk one day about Tourism 2.0, Dwight. What does that look like, where we actually own the product? Anyway, good show.
Okay, all right, thanks a lot. Yeah, but it is happening the same.
And I must say, Patrick Ramming wrote a book about just what he talked about.
Yeah,
and it's pretty. I'm still going through it, Mr. Ramming. If you're listening, we'll get to you. Yeah, but it's going good so far.
We've
yeah.
stripped it. He talks about it all the time.
Yeah.
What used to be downtown and how authentic it was.
Yeah.
And how it was a place for Bahamians and anyone who lived here to go. But we've removed all of that. Removed it all.
Well, we've shifted those people over to the experience that the Atlantises have made, the experience that the Royal Caribbeans are going to make.
Yes.
The Coco Keys of the world, where there's Six Flags attractions on a key.
Yeah,
there's nothing to do with the Bahamian experience.
No, we don't really have a tourism industry. We have a hotel industry and a cruise ship industry.
Correct.
Right? And they decide what they want and what's going to be fun to do here. And whatever they open, whatever restaurant they say is cool, that's what's cool. Yeah. And everything else, well, that's what they do.
And they tell you, most of the people who come off our ship go to Atlantis to go see that.
Because what else is there to do? You got something else for me to do?
Yeah, man. Got some fishing charters. Some of those guys.
Okay.
There's a water tower you could go stare at for a little while.
Stare at. That's right. That's all you can do to it.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Okay. Again, we're going to get into all of that a little bit later in the show, so let's not get too, right?
Sidetracked.
Yeah, right. We'll take this call, and then we're going to get to your messages. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning to all.
Hi, good morning.
What I'd like to say is that, the Haitians issue in the shanty towns is the same as any homeless in the country. The thing called human rights, other than civil rights. Human rights is the right to have to live in a home. You see, the right to a job. You see, health care, education. You see, these things are human rights. You don't have a right to be a billionaire. You see, and what we do is we have some people in our some politicians or wannabe politicians that preach creation of millionaires, whether they black or uplifting the middle class and the like, or whatever. But they forget to tell you that in creating wealth, it brings deprivation. You see, it's like a big fish eating the small fish. You see, and it's no other way to explain that. And speaking about the situation with the home porting, we got a thing with the porter's key, right? What we do is we take docking space, right? Something that's in demand in this Bahamas, and we turn it into what you call it, our bear shops and restaurants. But what we need to do is the same east of East Street. We need to provide a space for those vendors. In other words, we don't have enough fish fry. You see, a pond.
Yeah.
So we need to expand it nearer to the docks. You see, nearer to Bay Street or on Bay Street. You see, there's lots of issues we need to deal in this country. Lots of issues. Do you see that thing you talk about with the vaccine production and things? That's another example of private profit. You see, we talk about special interest. It ain't special interest, it's private profit. You see, and that's the ills. We bigger people, we say that people are great. You're great. What about Vladimir Putin? He's great. You see, we need people that are honest. We need leaders to be honest. We don't need their vision. Vision comes from God. Everybody that can read can receive a vision from God, or can see today. You don't even have to read. You can see and hear, and and the media and this era of information we're in.
Okay.
But anyway, thank you for allowing me this
Appreciate it. All right. Let's read some of your messages here. Somebody says here, I never understand why they say, where are they going to go? It was about the shantytown residents. And the answer is, go back where you came from. Well, that means right here. Many of them are born right here and have the right to be in this country, as we've heard many times before, but many just don't want to admit it, that many of these people are Bahamians or are residents of the Bahamas. This is their home. They're not all illegal migrants. Right?
That's correct.
All right. This one says here, the Privy Council has pretty much begged the Bahamas to repeal the Quieting Titles Act. It is a way to illegally steal land from title holders. Makes you beg the question as to who's benefiting from leaving this relic in place. You know exactly who's benefiting. Privy Council. Bahamians are begging for this to go. Many who've had their land stolen from them through this act. But you know exactly who's benefiting from this. Yeah. This one says, I so agree with the government. Regardless, everyone needs to follow protocols, especially these non-Bahamians. They are taking our land for a ride. This is so ridiculous, okay? Dwight, you sound like you already had your shot of tequila. LOL. Like, oh, yeah? Okay, check me at 7:14 p.m. This one says here, nope. Where will they go? Well, they can return to their country of origin or find legal appropriate accommodations like people do in the civilized world. Well, we already discussed that. But again, there's a shortage in Abaco.
Yeah.
Big shortage there. And so that's a challenge. And clearly we've got issues in New Providence, and there are issues on many other islands as well. We've got a crisis.
What about the
here?
I don't know. I mean, do they build these places for a couple $100s? Can they take them and find, or do they borrow the material?
All of the above.
All of the above. Okay.
All of the above.
Yeah.
Right. This one says, I'm good with the decision to demolish shantytowns. All that money that shantytown residents were saving can now be used to pay rent in a legal apartment, just like me and you. But tell Bannister, don't think we fool using this to play with our emotions. By the way, the government needs to give that Bahamian man the crown land that they promised him on PI. Okay. Another one here. I completely support the government's initiative to tear down these illegally constructed buildings in Abaco, but my question is, how are we going to address the housing shortage across the archipelago? Yeah, we just said that. There's a big problem. Another one here. Please correct your callers when they make these false statements that it's the government's responsibility to find places for illegal persons living in the shanty towns. Our government needs to do more to prevent them from building these towns, but once they build, we are binded by agreements we sign on to. You guys need to educate people on the international human rights laws. You're very confused with your text. I don't know where you're going with all of this stuff. A lot of things you're saying. People are giving their opinions. They're not all illegal, and I don't know what you're talking about, right? So, but that's opinions that people are giving. If that's how they feel, that's how they feel. But again, they're not all here illegally, and so that complicates matters quite a bit. But yeah. All right. Okay. And oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. When I was a teenager, I heard so much good things. Okay. So many good things about Abaco, and always wanted to travel there. When I became a woman able to afford the trip, the landscape of Abaco had changed with shanty towns in the city. I no longer wanted to go there where illegals were taking over the island. I agree with the government's intentions to clean up that place. If the people in them are Bahamians, it doesn't give them the right to take over the land that doesn't belong to them. Yes, we all agree with that. It doesn't give anybody the right, no matter what. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. We've had a couple of devastating fires in the last few days here in New Providence. The one yesterday morning has resulted in a fatality, and many people are concerned, but many others are, as a result of these fires, homeless now. And folks have been calling from Monday morning. Some of our first callers were saying, what's the government going to do? What's the government going to do? The question was asked to Minister of Social Services, Frankie Campbell, about this. What will the government do? He had some interesting comments. Take a listen to this report from our Giorgio Bain.
Temporary housing has been provided for some 13 residents, according to Social Services Minister Frankie Campbell, but they must comply with filing an official report on what was lost during the fire so that further assistance can be given.
Important that a report from the fire department is given so that further assistance should be had. And I've been given the undertaking that once those persons go in, they have to go in and initiate, because each person will have something different to report that they would have lost. And the fire report needs to state what was lost, not just that there was a fire. There are some persons who feel like they need not answer questions when they are seeking assistance. That is necessary. We need to document. At the end of the day, we in the department need to give an account for the funds that we have. And so there must be some paper trail.
The Social Services Minister says those affected cannot rely on the government to help them rebuild, as the structures were not government-owned. He encouraged residents to consider insuring homes, no matter how expensive it may seem.
The government don't own the structures. We need to acknowledge that there is a limit to the assistance. And I know the thought of insurance is expensive, but there are options for insurance. There are options for contents. There are options for just your roof. There are options that need to be considered. But if we expect in every incident that the government will make us whole, that is not realistic.
As for how long that short-term assistance may last, Campbell said this.
Politicians get in trouble giving time frames for things that other people do. And then when other people don't, the politician is made out to be a liar.
However, PLP candidate Lisa Raming tells our news that the government isn't doing enough to assist residents.
I am somewhat disturbed to know that the government itself, this is a national issue, and this requires a national address by the Prime Minister of this country. Not one or two persons was affected. We're talking about a plethora of individuals who are displaced, not only with a job, but with everything.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Giorgio Bain.
All right, so this was a big issue on Monday morning, and we had some arguments with some folks about it. Like, is it really the government's responsibility? Yes, assistance, definitely, but...
that PLP statement was a bit reckless.
It's very interesting, very interesting. So here we go. What should be the government's role in a situation like this? What should be the government's role? Let's hear from you. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796.
The government's role is to maintain adequate fire prevention equipment and hydrants, etc., so that if your house does catch on fire, God forbid, it can be put out expeditiously.
And I guess temporary assistance in terms of housing and maybe clothes and
if
food,
you ask for it, sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't even know who owns the properties here, right? So a lot of things have to be determined.
Right.
But the minister talking about insurance, a lot of people aren't going to be able to afford it. But he says there's affordable ways. You can definitely pay these things in installments. It may not be as bad as you think.
Right. And then he also mentioned breaking it up. You can insure the roof. That's important. Get that back on.
Mm-hmm.
And then deal with the interior stuff later.
Right.
That kind of thing.
So, do you agree? Let's talk about it. The phone lines are all lit up. Let's hear what you have to say.
Also, were some of these places even not fire hazards, or were they built properly in the first place?
We were hearing that the night of the fire.
Yeah.
People were saying that they were concerned about debris in the area and a lot of garbage and junk. And that is a case. And if you drive around certain areas, you'll see it. Like, this is just a catastrophe waiting to happen.
And are you going to accept responsibility for that as the owner of the property and the yard?
Accept responsibility? What are you talking about?
Suddenly it's the government, right?
Who does that? What? Anyway, let's take these calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Chester.
Hi, good morning. Hi.
Yeah, you asked what's government responsibility. It seems like in the Bahamas, government responsibility is to perpetrate blended ignorance. And when you listen to the politicians in Aspirant, you get more of linguistic contortionism and intellectual masturbation. The problem is that when you look at the policy, a problem properly stated is 90% of the solution. The other 10% is the actual action. And so let's use the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Works as an example. He says that the biggest problem we have with the shanty towns is the fact that individuals can actually go and build on a land and sit on it for a while. Well, guess what? The government's responsibility in its purest sense is legislation, which is laws, policies, and programs. So if we have all known what the problem is here concerning land squatting and the Quieting Titles Act. And so the easiest thing to do is to go into Parliament and fix the law. Behemoths have been demanding it for the longest period of time. And so you don't say, oh, you think you're all going to just sit around and squat and whatever. Fix the law. Guess what? Immediately it impacts anyone who is doing it. And more so it impacts the legal fraternity. Now, the Privy Council ruled in the Cat Island affair that the Quiet Titling Act is legalized theft. Okay, that's our highest court, and it says also in that ruling that lawyers representing these laws are actually complicit or ignorant of what the law says.
Oh, they're not ignorant.
Our highest court says concerning that. But when you look at what we are having here, the fire and the shanty towns and everything else, it's hard for me when I look at the shanty towns to tell the difference from our inner cities. And so what we have is, in Nassau, you may have a housing need, but a crisis in the outer islands, but we have a housing problem across the entire Bahamas.
Yes.
The Minister of Social Services says, get what? Go get some insurance. Okay, really, how do you get insurance when the government has failed to develop the economy to create an environment for people to pay for anything. But you look at the fact that probably 70 to 75% of the Bahamian people make under $25,000 a year. When you look at the fact that maybe as much as 50% of the families are living in constructive poverty. Just, we have the poverty level at 4,000 per person. If you multiply it by 3, that's 12,000. But if you actually take the case of inflation since it's happened, it is at 6,000 per person. 50% or more of the civil servants will meet the poverty deadline for who they live in if they have 2.5 people in their house. And so, but we don't look at the whole construct of our country, that we are not falling apart. We have fell apart, and we are now patching things to keep our existence. You talk about the development of the economy. Like you say, the tourist guide, the cruise ship says, guess what? We're going to bring some high network clients here. And if you guys get yourself together, you may be able to rent them a chair on the beach for $5. Okay? And it's madness, because what happens is the world has changed. This is a unique opportunity for literally to make tens of thousands of new millionaires in the Bahamas with the new change in the dispensation of the world. In the whole hospitality industry, we're stuck on stupid with this one tourism profile that we have a group of idiot savants, surprisingly, that seem to want to rebuild this. It's almost like, imagine that same burnt down building, that you go down there and try to paint it because you don't want it to be black and dark and charred. That's what we're trying to do to the old economic model that we have. Tourism, as we practice it, is dead. However, there's a new opportunity for multiplicity of different hospitality models using the 21st century type environment. COVID creates an environment. The cruise ship build their hotels. They come here on their hotels.
You might need to call back for that one, but let's stick to what we're talking about right now. But call back for it. That's coming up in Morning Blend.
Okay, but let's go back to the housing crisis. We need to have answers concerning the housing crisis in the Bahamas. We need to address the laws that impact why people are living in these shanty towns, why people are living in the cities. And instead of soundbite governance, we need them to bring comprehensive, clear, concise strategies on how to resolve these. This is the time, especially now that we're so far in the campaign mode, is to not allow them to give us intellectual platitudes, but actually say, give us exactly, when you say affordable housing or whatever you're going to build, give us the plan on how you're going to build it, how you're going to finance it, where you're going to do it. Not no promises that you may give us a piece of crown land that you may have to go build where you don't qualify to live in the ghetto where you are, but you say you're going to have this imaginary place. It's like they tell you, it's like if you want to experience the Bahamian dream, go to sleep, not to work.
Oh, boy.
It's madness that we're having here. But I will call back on this garbage that we call it the tourism model that we're trying to rebuild, because I want to know what the ERC says.
Okay, thanks a lot. Wow. All right, again, we're talking about what the fire, what the response should be from the government to the fires now, and that we're seeing, and that have left so many people displaced out of their homes. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Blend.
Hi.
Yeah. When you have 6 persons living in 144 square feet area and closely related to you, you have a similar situation. You really sort of setting yourself up for catastrophe. How we address this, of course, the housing issue has to be addressed. And even that can't be addressed because you have a situation where the population is growing, but the resources are remaining the same, eh? So we can't like box in. But here's how I would address it. Let's look at an opportunity, Morning Blend, if I may. When you go and you buy this little breath freshener that used to come inside a little piece of slip that you could just put on your tongue and it freshens your breath. Have you ever seen that?
Yes, they still sell them.
Sorry?
They still
here's
sell
an
them,
opportunity. There is a special protein that's only in your saliva. It's not found anywhere else. What you want to do is you want to go and make some of those little papers that you can sell for $10. When you put it on your tongue, it's going to turn red. If you put it in water, it's not going to affect it because it's going after a protein in the saliva. What that would let you know is that you have been exposed, not that you have, you've been exposed to the coronavirus, not COVID, because COVID is the disease. We're talking about being exposed to the virus. That's an opportunity to make money because it will make millions of dollars for anybody who can do it. Guess what? it might just be done before anyone who's listening do it. This is what you want to talk about, opportunities. Am I right, sir?
So what when it turns the color, what happens after that?
All it does is it lets you know that, look, it lets you know that you've been exposed to the virus, right? Therefore, it probably could encourage you to go and get tested. What I'm simply saying is it's not going to be something that's going to say you have coronavirus disease called COVID-19. You've just been exposed. And guess what? We all have been exposed. That means everybody's going to turn red.
We've all been exposed. Okay.
So okay?
Okay.
Opportunities, my friend.
Well, sure. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Turn them Listerine strips into test strips. It's a good idea. If it could be pulled off. How long is your tongue going to be red for?
Until you cure it. I don't know. Open your mouth. Let me see. Like, oh my God, no. Okay. Good morning.
You stand in this line.
Anyway. Good morning, caller. Are you on the air?
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Seth.
Good morning.
Hi.
Dwight, I get the part about buying insurance, right? But normally people buy insurance for extra protection. When you pay your taxes and you do all the service that the government asks you to do, you expect that the services provided by the government is, automatic. That you shouldn't have to worry about. I mean, like, if you go to the States, any other country in the world, basically, progressive countries, you expect to walk into a house that you rent or Airbnb and the lights will turn on. That if a fire happens, a truck will reach there in like 5-10 minutes. Your water will turn on when you actually need it. See, these are the utilities that you are expected from the government that you pay taxes to. And this is the reason why I'm saying that the government is partially responsible for what happened with those fires, because the services, the utilities that should have been in place wasn't. So you can't. I can't put the full blame on the people for not buying insurance. But on another note, though, if you're renting a place, how you can buy insurance on a building that doesn't belong to you, which happens a lot in the communities. A lot of people rent, so how can they buy insurance on a building that they don't own? So it's going to look into those things too.
Well, this is why it's a complicated matter, because a lot of the people probably are renting. Not all, but some are. So you still have issues. That's why it's not as simple as saying that the government has to go and do this and that, because we don't know what we're dealing with.
And it's also a slap in the face to tell them, well, they should have bought insurance.
But that is true, though. They should have.
The landlord should have
insurance. Should only be. But then don't they have town planning and all of that stuff that says that if you have a home, you have to buy insurance?
No.
Isn't that isn't it a law somewhere?
No.
It's not a law?
No.
So again, it's just an incentive to make sure that if something does happen to your house.
I mean, if you are paying a bank, or you're going to be required to have insurance, but after you've paid it off, you are not required to have insurance. I don't know if we want to go down that road, but that's the law with cars. We have the law with cars, and people aren't getting their insurance like they should. Yeah. So I mean, it's up to people to understand that it's not just about you; it's about protecting other people as well.
Here's another last point for you, though. The town planning aspect of it, don't they say you have to have your house a certain distance from each other?
Yeah, I think that's
right. So that's also a fault of the government. So.
Yeah, but
they do hold some responsibility for what happens to these people after the fact. I like Melissa.
Okay. Well, we know we have some issues in those communities, those areas.
How do you hold the government responsible for these things?
It's tricky. It's tricky.
If you open a hydrant in that area and nothing comes out, I would say you could hold the government responsible for that.
Of course, the commissioner is saying that's not the case.
A hydrant. He's saying the truck didn't come without water.
But is he responding to the hydrant issue?
I don't know. And are there enough hydrants in those areas per square? Because that's something that's supposed to happen, right? There's supposed to be a hydrant every couple feet, yards, whatever.
There are some areas you go in and you don't see them at all.
Where hydrant where?
All right. I know in my neighborhood where the nearest one is.
Really?
Yeah. They often What do they call it when they let it?
Yeah.
Whatever that's called, when
Yeah.
they let the water out.
Test it or something.
I don't know if it's testing, but they open it up and let it out and flood the whole place. But
don't do it.
I don't know
This
what
area
that's- I
is
don't know
not
what's
built for
happening.
that kind
I
of
don't know what's
stuff.
happening. But in their places there are no hydrants anywhere.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that's all about. Right? So many issues.
You know what it's all about.
We'll have more on that and more of what's making news on this Wednesday morning. This week is flying. Isn't it flying?
Oh,
Yeah. Stay with us. Yep. Stay with us.
Lord, it put me into a trance, and everybody was looking at me as I made up my own new dance. Oh, call the fire engine, run, tell 'em come quick. I could feel my temperature rising, never heard Rico scream like this. Lord, all over my body, from my head straight down to my feet. I should beat this bank on the good rum, and the soul, Lord, the beat so sweet. Oh, straight from the...
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is AP News. I'm Rita Foley. The Deep South has been battling Mother Nature. Tornadoes, high winds, heavy rain, homes damaged from Texas to Virginia. A tree fell on Marilyn Clark's house in Jackson, Mississippi. She says she grabbed her son to keep him safe.
Let's go and get in the hallway because that tornado's here. And so by the time I got to the hallway foyer, it was all over. And then, so I didn't realize all this had happened. So, in fact, it wasn't too long ago before I walked out here to really see this. But I said, thank God.
She talked to WBLT-TV. The storms this week have left at least 3 people dead. Trees down, power lines down, too. President Biden's trying to get doubters to get the COVID shot.
Most people will be convinced by the fact that their failure to get the vaccine may cause other people to get sick and maybe die.
He set a new vaccination goal to deliver at least 1 shot to 70% of adult Americans by July 4th. Former President Trump finds out this morning whether he can get back on Facebook. Its decision expected around 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Derek Chauvin's defense attorney says Chauvin should get a new trial. He was convicted of murder and manslaughter in the death of George Floyd. The AP's Mike Gracia.
Attorney Eric Nelson says Judge Peter Cahill violated Chauvin's right to a fair trial when he denied Nelson's request for a change of venue due to pretrial publicity. Nelson also cites Cahill's refusal to sequester the jury for the trial or instruct jurors to avoid all media. Nelson's brief does not refer to reports that one of the jurors participated in an August 28th march in Washington, D.C. to honor Martin Luther King Jr. Floyd's brother and sister addressed the crowd at that march. I'm Mike Gracia.
This is AP News. Volunteers are going door to door in Detroit to try to convince residents to get the COVID shot.
So far, only about 31% of Detroit residents eligible for vaccinations have received at least 1 dose.
Hello. Passing out COVID-19 vaccination information.
Supervisor Anthony Brinson says there's a lot of misinformation.
When they know the facts, I think it'll help get them out.
Various campaigns are also underway in Black and other communities of color. Mecca Shabazz is not vaccinated.
Everybody, when it first came out, had we about to get it right now. I'm just probably going to wait.
Some in Nicola Sproker's family got vaccinated.
They've gotten a little bit sick from it and stuff, So I'm saying, is it worth it or not worth it? I really don't know.
Victoria Kovari with the mayor's office in Detroit says,
we're going to knock on every residential door in this city.
I'm Ed Donahue.
An Oregon man's pleaded guilty after collecting almost $500,000 of his aunt's Social Security checks. I'm Rita Foley, AP News.
And at 7:38, we've got your first look at traffic this morning, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. In your real-time traffic, we're seeing heavy traffic on Gladstone Road, northbound lanes heading towards JFK Drive. Smart Butler Highway also busy, northbound and towards Tawny Williams-Darling Highway. There might be some issues nearer to the roundabout with Fire Trail, especially in the northbound lane. So keep that in mind. You might want to avoid Gladstone Road till we figure out what's going on there. Elsewhere, the traffic is building on Carmichael Road, eastbound, heading towards Blue Hill Road. And we're seeing the heavy traffic on the northbound lanes heading towards Independence Drive on Blue Hill Road at this hour as you get over that hill just north of Soldier Road. Elsewhere, not looking so bad, but we're expecting that to change in just a few minutes. And we'll have another real-time report for you just after the 8 o'clock news. That's your Morning Blend Traffic Alert brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. And for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Rev Cable Bahamas, we've got high pressure across the islands. That's going to be in retreat eastwards through tonight. Beachgoers in the southeast Bahamas should exercise caution due to the risk of rip currents along eastern shorelines. For today, your forecast for the northwest and central Bahamas, variably cloudy and hot with isolated showers and the slight chance of an isolated thunderstorm in the extreme northwest Bahamas today, turning warm tonight. For the southeast Bahamas, mostly sunny, warm, and breezy with a few light passing showers today, becoming mostly fair and breezy tonight. Small craft caution is in effect. High temperatures today getting up to around 88 Fahrenheit, 31 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 73 Fahrenheit, 23 Celsius. In your extended outlook, that ridge will continue to shift eastwards on Thursday as a cold front enters the northwest Bahamas on Friday. For Thursday, look for variably cloudy and warm conditions with isolated showers and thunderstorms mainly near the extreme northwest Bahamas as the front moves in. Friday, mostly cloudy but still warm with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms in the northwest Bahamas. Partly sunny and warm with a few light passing showers in the central and southeast Bahamas. Things won't get cold or cool, but more comfortable for just a couple of days as that front moves through. That's your Morning Blend weather check brought to you by Rev. Basketball fans, it's time, as things heat up in the NBA, to sign up for Rev Trio now. And you could get NBA League Pass absolutely free. Call 601-8992 or email trio@cablebahamas.com to sign up. Rev, you and us together.
We are in an age of exponential change. The world is experiencing a technology boom where innovation is at an all-time high. What does this mean for small island nations? How can we adapt to the emerging digital revolution? Join 900 delegates from 3 Caribbean countries at one regional event to tackle the theme, Global Digital Disruption, Threat or Opportunity. The virtual RF Economic Outlook Conference happens on May 6th. Register today at rfeoc.com.
Roaming just got easier. Say hello to more with our new Liberty Prime plan. With more minutes, more texts, and more data to do the things you love right here at home and even when you travel. With the all-new Liberty Prime, Liberty Premium, and Liberty Elite, you've got one less worry. Roam again. Alive. Believe in best.
Believe in best.
Basketball is back, baby, and so is NBA League Pass, only with Rev Trio. Sign up for Rev Trio today and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free, along with incredible prizes, including a brand new 50-inch smart TV, NBA gear, and more. With tons of prizes and gear, signing up for Trio is the best on- and off-court move this year. Just call 601-8992 or visit www.rev.bs/promotions/trio. Sign up for Rev Trio today and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free.
Go cashless with CIBC First Caribbean. Ensure that you only visit reputable and secure websites when paying for goods and services with your CIBC First Caribbean Visa, debit, or credit card online. You can tell if a website is secure if it has an HTTPS at the beginning of the URL or the lock and key symbol appears. Visit CIBCFCIB.com for more information. Go cashless with CIBC First Caribbean.
Meet Jackie. Jackie's a hard worker with a steady income, but she has a personal loan and multiple credit cards to pay off. To keep her account current, Jackie opted for a loan from Fidelity Bank to consolidate her debt into one monthly payment and earn interest on a built-in savings account. Be like Jackie. Call 356-7764 to book a complimentary financial coaching session. Fidelity also offers virtual assistance. Fidelity, we're good for you.
The best place to get a new iPhone is at BTC. Make the iPhone 12 mini yours for just $199. That's big savings to go with our sweet postpaid value of unlimited local calls, international minutes, roaming data and minutes, plus all the data you need. Stream, share, and stay connected on the best LTE network when you switch to BTC. Visit a store to sign up today and get the iPhone 12 mini for just $199. Conditions apply.
There's only one way to have a better morning. How? Start your mornings the best way with our 2 for $6 breakfast sandwiches at Wendy's. For a limited time, choose any 2 of your favorite breakfast sandwiches, including the fresh Strachan sack muffin, honey buttermilk chicken biscuit, double sausage muffin, or the sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit. Wash it all down with our cold brew shake or coffee. Better mornings always start at Wendy's. Wendy's, different inside and out. Excludes airport locations.
Digital banking, online, RBC. RBC banking, online, pay your bills anytime.
RBC Digital Banking is so easy. Granny and Granddad can do it. Sign up for online banking or download the RBC Caribbean app.
With RBC, it's safe and easy. Send your money hassle-free. RBC.
Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/bank at home. RBC Royal Bank. Banking reimagined.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all the day.
And we're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards on this Wednesday morning. We are talking about what's in the news, talking about the government's response to fire victims. We've had 2 devastating fires over the past few days, and many people calling on the government to do something for the displaced families. And we just played a piece for you with the with the Social Services Minister explaining what is available in terms of the assistance. But others seem to be calling for a lot more, for houses or homes to be rebuilt
by the government.
Everything by the government.
Oh, my goodness.
Even though it's not clear if these are the owners of the properties who've been displaced, right. So it's a lot of gray area there. Yeah. But the minister is saying that insurance is important, and as we know, and that the owners of these buildings need to have insurance if they don't. But we can imagine many don't or think they can't afford it. So we're talking about that. But we want to hear from you what you think should be done.
I was told a lot of those homes have been around since the 60s and 70s and just been like kind of upgraded over the years.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
Old places.
Definitely, yep. And somebody's saying it too, how close the buildings are to each other, and that's come up quite a bit. The I don't want to say garbage, but it is often. It's lots of abandoned vehicles just parked there, and trash accumulating,
piles of wood and debris.
Yeah, that's just begging for a tragedy, especially when it comes to fire. But yeah, so we're talking about that. Of course, insurance not mandatory unless you are still financing it. But you can, if you're renting, you don't know if your landlord has insurance, which you should really try to find out. But you can always, as people are texting to say, you can always do your own contents insurance.
Right, yeah.
And then you can, as texters are saying, secure and insure your property inside that apartment. And if there is a tragedy, well, you get up and try to find somewhere else to go. Yeah. And that's not easy in this town.
Sure ain't.
But
especially on a budget.
Hey. All right, so we're talking about that. What you have to say about this. Let's read some messages and then we'll get to the calls. Someone says here, in regards to the fire, it is a tragedy and my thoughts and prayers are with those that are affected. I don't think any political entity should be using such tragedy as a springboard for political brownie points. I find that distasteful and disgraceful. They should be calling for a collaborative effort across party lines. These people need help, not to be used for political advancement. And it is so amazing how quickly the politics reared its head after this. Within hours, the smoke was still billowing out of the dust there, but
it didn't really make sense what I heard.
Does it ever?
I mean, this was 3 days ago, was it?
One, yeah, and
the government and the government's already helping. So what was that person talking about?
What indeed? What indeed?
I'm confused.
This text here: if your house has a fire, how is it the government and the taxpayers and the VAT payers' responsibility? You should have insurance. If you choose not to, how does that become the people's problem? It's a cold way to say it, but
landlords should buy fire extinguishers too.
And every home needs to have a smoke detector. We've heard this many times before, right? You need to have them, make sure they're working, and check the batteries often. And do the test. They all have a test button. You can see what's happening.
Yep.
And but do we? Let's take this call. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Good morning, Glenn.
Hi. Good morning.
Morning.
Good. Listen, do we have the official reason or cause of this fire yet? Because I've heard that it started by someone burning trash, and I've heard that it started because a lamppost caught on fire.
Don't know.
We don't have an official.
We don't have the official cause yet. No. Well, suppose it started by a lamppost catching a fire. Wouldn't the government be at fault?
Maybe. And then what? Maybe. I mean, it could be many reasons why it catches on fire. But what? And if it is, what then?
Well, I just feel that the government should take responsibility if it's their cause. Don't you?
Well, I mean, it's going to be hard to determine that, right? Because you could say.
No, you could really play like it's hard to determine it. But, you could determine and find out what it is. And then you could say something else.
I mean, determine that it was exactly the fault of the government, right? Many things happen on these lines. Many things are near the lines that shouldn't be. It's a lot of things.
Well, if things should be by the line and cause it, that's still the government's fault because they're supposed to make sure the lines are cleared.
Well, on people's property. Sometimes it's on people's property.
Yeah, I know. That's just how they're going to say things, too.
Okay.
You're going to find all kind of excuses not to take the blame.
Well, okay.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Oh, boy. You can't win. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Dwight and Jess. How y'all doing?
Hi, good morning.
Very good.
Good, and good morning to the nation. Several points, Dwight, and I'd also like to call back to discuss the cruise boarding, madam, when you get to that.
Sure.
Just for the record. This government is best at taxing and taking away from Bahamians, but they are poor at creating opportunities and creating the environment for growth for Bahamians. When is Abaco going to have the electricity replaced and restored so that they can get on with their lives? And when is it going to have the other infrastructure replaced? And
are you saying Abaco's electricity isn't being replaced?
I'm asking when. When is it going to be restored?
It's
not restored currently.
None of it?
Based on what the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Public Works, who's responsible for BPL and other infrastructural agencies, spoke to, it's moving very slowly.
Oh.
Very slowly, right? And in the meantime, their lives are being destroyed, and they can't seem to experience any level of normalcy. And their lives will only experience normalcy at the pace that the government moves with restoring infrastructure, inclusive of electricity. When we look at what happened with the fire, with the hydrants, with the interview with the Commissioner of Police, he explained very clearly, and I'm not hearing anyone speak to it, that the firefighting truck, they ran out of water, and the hydrant was empty. There was no water in the hydrant. They had to look at the map to determine where was the next hydrant in order to go and collect water, for them to come back and give the yeoman's effort that they gave in trying to save additional homes from being destroyed. Someone needs to be held accountable who's responsible for those hydrants being filled with water and being properly pressurized. As Dwight said, he experienced a pressurized his system in his community regularly, and as a result, there's a lot of flooding that takes place wherever that hydrant is done. I experienced the same thing in my community, right? And that's supposed to happen with all hydrants across the country, right? And so who's going to be held accountable while the government is playing politics, right? As a matter of fact, Chester, I know that you continue to point to the statements by the candidate for the Progressive Liberal Party. I imagine you're speaking to, right? And Dwight, you were pointing to it as well. What I want to say is, I wholeheartedly agree with the statement of Lisa, right? The PLP candidate for Marathon. A lot more has to be done. A lot more needs to be done by the government of the Bahamas. Look, guys, let's look at
what do you want to see done?
I'm going to say to you right now, let's look at what the government is doing. The government is creating a special interest, highly sought after gated community using tax.
Hold on. Wait. Speak to the fire incident, because that's what she was talking about.
You asked me a question, and I'm telling you.
Yeah, but for the people, though. Wait. But she was talking about the people.
What my response
You're talking about this government.
No, Chester. Give me a moment to develop my point.
Yeah, this point already going so far off the topic.
We don't have that much time, man.
Seriously.
I don't need a lot of time. All I need is the opportunity to develop my point respectfully. That's it, right? The government is using taxpayer resources in our land. They're using taxpayer resources in our taxes. They are going to provide incentives in terms of duty-free exemptions on all materials for construction. They're going to pay 80% of the cost for architectural, mechanical, electrical, structural, plumbing drawings. For these persons, they're creating in a special interest community out west, in a gated community. We now have a situation where at least 10 families in a poor inner city community have been displaced. They have homes. They've had homes, They've lost their homes. If the government can take tens of millions of dollars to create a special interest gated community in an upscale community of West, by God, it should be able to use the taxpayer money to help the least amongst us, who is least able to afford to restore their lives. So stop this nonsense, man. Thank you, Dwight.
Okay. Really
Serious, yeah, very stretchy.
It's not going to be free for the people who are going to be living in that area.
Stretchy, yeah.
But okay. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller.
He hardly even talked about those people who were affected by the fire. He just really wanted to hit on that development.
Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well.
Just good morning to you as well.
Good morning.
Very brief, yeah. One thing that is very noticeable that has been missing in this conversation with fires, especially the first one, you had a person on the ground made the statement that there was a person or group of persons responsible who they felt was responsible for the first fire. There's no coverage of what the police intended, what type of investigation is being done to determine this person or group of persons. But that is something that many of us in many of these communities are very concerned with. I'll give you a classic example here. We have persons in some of our communities, especially the one that I'm in, that is famous for every week lighting fires in these areas. We have complained to the police. We have called them on numerous occasions to address these matters, but yet the matters still persist. I mean, to start a fire, they're burning trash in the yard or whatever, but this problem still persists. Yeah. So how is it now that the persons who they said may have allegedly started the first fire, where's the police investigation, or what is it that they're doing in that regard? The second fire that started, there's evidence supposedly that the person within that structure may have accidentally started that fire, but there's no further details on that one. The point that I'd like to press here, and I'll end with this note, I think right now the responsibility, there are many lapses in our laws that are being allowed to just go contrary. When that goes contrary to the laws, and yet it seems as if the agency is responsible to enforce these laws are not doing their due diligence and ensuring that the matter stops in a lot of these communities. The pressure should be put on the government these agencies to do their jobs.
Okay.
Let's get rid of this problem. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks a lot. Yep, definitely agree with you, and we need the public to be vigilant as well and to ensure that they do report these things and be a little more active with that when they see that happening, and don't just complain and grumble, but do something.
We need fire hydrants with water in them too.
And you need that, definitely. Yeah. And somebody does need to answer to that one.
Yeah.
If that is what happened there. Who is responsible for that? All right, we're going to be back with more on this and more of what else is making news on this Wednesday after the break. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
The weather outside's changing. The leaves are
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
May 5th, 2021, and you're listening to the Guardian News Network Morning Report.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart device. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook us, facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us 422-4796. And now at 8:20, it's time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Here's what's happening. We've got high pressure across the islands. It's going to begin to retreat eastwards through tonight. Beachgoers in the southeast Bahamas should exercise caution due to rip currents along eastern shorelines. Now for today, for the northwest and central Bahamas, your forecast calls for variably cloudy and hot conditions with isolated showers and a slight chance of isolated thunderstorms in the extreme northwestern islands, turning warm tonight. For the southeast Bahamas, mostly sunny, warm, and breezy, with a few light passing showers becoming mostly fair and a bit breezy tonight. Smokecraft caution in effect. 81 degrees right now in Nassau. Look for highs getting up to around 88 Fahrenheit, 31 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 73 Fahrenheit, 23 Celsius. In your extended outlook, we're expecting the ridge of high pressure to shift eastwards ahead of a cold front that's entering the northwest Bahamas by the end of the week. So for tomorrow, Thursday, look for variably cloudy and warm conditions with isolated showers and thunderstorms, mainly near the extreme northwest Bahamas as that front moves in. Friday, mostly cloudy and warm with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms in the northwest Bahamas, partly sunny and warm with a few light passing showers in the central and southeastern islands. That's your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. What's first for you comes first for us. And at 8:21, time for another check of your traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. And as expected, we're seeing much heavier traffic at this hour, and your usual hotspots are hot as usual at this time. We've got Sir Miles Butler Highway, heavy traffic northbound heading towards Tawny Williams Darling Highway, and heavy traffic on Tawny Williams Darling Highway westbound heading towards that roundabout with Sir Miles Butler Highway. Glaston Road looking a little bit better for you this morning. The northbound lane heading towards JFK Drive, but JFK's got some traffic backed up at that westbound approach to the roundabout there with Glaston Road. Further up on JFK Drive, as you get closer to the six-legged roundabout, you're going to be seeing some issues there, eastbound. And Blue Hill Road is busy this morning from St. Vincent up to Independence Drive, especially north of Soldier Road in the northbound lanes heading towards Independence Drive. Carmichael backed up as well, eastbound heading towards Blue Hill Road. Independence Drive, both directions, west and eastbound, mainly westbound though, so you might want to avoid that area if you can. And elsewhere, we've got Soldier Road near Windsor Place, seeing some heavy traffic, and Marathon Road, building traffic northbound. Bernard Road westbound near the schools in that area, and Eastern Road heavy traffic westbound this morning from San Souci up to Johnson Road. Fox Hill Road also busy northbound heading towards Prince Charles Drive, and pockets along Prince Charles Drive this morning. So a lot you're dealing with this morning. Good luck on your commute. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Glen Traffic Alert brought to you by RBC Royal Bank.
But we've got to get home.
Yep, we've got to let the dog out.
Speaking of dogs, you won't believe who I saw the other day. Who?
Honey.
Remember Anton, Jeanette's oldest boy? The one with the dogs.
With local claims managers, we pay your motor claims fast. We're like a goodbye at your granny's that doesn't take 30 minutes.
We really got to get going.
So soon?
CG Atlantic Agents. Insurance, health, pensions, life. Good like that. Nassau Insurance Brokers and Agents Limited, trading as CG Atlantic Agents.
Roaming just got easier. Say hello to more with our new Liberty Prime plan. With more minutes, more texts, and more data to do the things you love right here at home and even when you travel. With the all-new Liberty Prime, Liberty Premium, and Liberty Elite, you've got one less worry. Roam again. Alive. Believe in best.
Go cashless with CIBC First Caribbean. Never give out your credit or debit card personal information over the phone unless you initiated the call and you have verified that you're dealing with a reputable merchant. Visit CIBCFCIB.com for more information. Go cashless with CIBC First Caribbean.
Imagine. That's where every advancement begins, with an idea that things can be different, better. Now, imagine a world where your entertainment experience was all about you, your style, your show, at your budget. At Rev, that's what we've imagined. To join the conversation and learn more about the future of Rev TV, visit us at rev.bs/imagine.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAL, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Cash is what we have been using for generations, but it's no longer the only way to pay or receive money. That is great news for business owners. I'm Lasanya Mizik, Managing Director at RBC Royal Bank, encouraging you to find out how going cashless can benefit your business with faster transactions and settlements, better cash flow management, plus reduce risk of theft. Learn more at rbc.com/Caribbean/go cashless. RBC Royal Bank. Banking reimagined.
Stay a step ahead of technology with certainty and support from Custom Computers. Our know-how team is here to help you zero in on your next big tech purchase, finding solutions that take your productivity to the next level using only the best and most reliable brands. With 4 stores all across Nassau on East Bay, West Bay, Old Fort Bay, and Palmdale, there's no stopping you from stepping up your tech. Reach out to us at 396-1100. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
We are in an age of exponential change. The world is experiencing a technology boom where innovation is at an all-time high. What does this mean for small island nations? How can we adapt to the emerging digital revolution? Join 900 delegates from 3 Caribbean countries at one regional event to tackle the theme, Global Digital Disruption, Threat or Opportunity. The virtual RF Economic Outlook Conference happens on May 6th. Register today at rfeoc.com.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Maybe you're the key to my lock it. If you ever left, never unlock it. Lonely like an island, island. If my love ain't your love, it's never gonna be nobody's love. Never gonna need nobody's love but yours. If my love ain't your love, it's never gonna be nobody's love. Never gonna need nobody's touch but yours. You can make a grown man cry if you ever said goodbye. Never let you go.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, along with Chester Robards. We are talking about what's in the news, talking about the fire, what the government's response should be, what we're hearing so far about the fire, and many calling for an investigation. What happened with the hydrant? What happened with the fire trucks? Although the commissioner is saying that they had water, but when they wanted more water,
right,
that was a problem.
When they went nearby, the hydrant was dry.
Well, look at that, Chester.
I'm here all day.
Okay, wow. So we're asking about that. But many are calling for the government to, some, I guess they are saying it, rebuild their homes, but I mean, boy. All right. We'll get to your calls in just a bit.
Is that what Anton was getting at? The government should rebuild their homes?
Government should do everything, according to him. Everything.
Until his government don't do those things, and then they're like,
What?
what do you expect? What do you want from them?
What? Here's a text. It's not the government's responsibility to rebuild homes. It is the government's responsibility to create systems and public partnerships so that people who face tragedies like fires can access immediate help like food, shelter, clothes, replacement of licenses and passports. The problem is that we have not done enough to empower our people, and our people have not educated themselves enough in understanding the responsibilities of government. They enjoy leading us like sheep, and some of us enjoy being sheep. Oh, yes.
I like that person. Well said.
Yeah. Some really do, and they love the sheep life.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Well, because they think they play in the system too.
Yep. And even after they are educated about not being a sheep, they're like, nah, this works better.
Yeah.
I like it.
They're like, I'm not a sheep. I'm playing the system.
And one day I'll be a shepherd and play some people like sheep too.
Right, yeah.
And so leave it like this.
It's a vicious cycle.
Yes, clearly. This is interesting. When we rented my daughter an apartment abroad, we had to have insurance as part of being approved for the lease. Of course, the insurance for her unit, including contents, was only $15 a month. So I would suggest that the government impress upon the insurance companies to have low rates for renters so that they could at least afford to insure their contents or valuables. That's
very interesting
Yep.
point.
We got to do a show on that to see what
insurance companies think.
Yeah, about that and renters and what if it's different. Do you have different rates as opposed to homeowners?
Right.
And for contents insurance there, and you were saying some stuff off here about that. Do you think that wouldn't cover?
Well, they should allow it to cover fire, but I don't know if it could cover theft because that you're gonna open the door for fraud there.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
It's sad that you think our people think like that.
Is it? Or is it normal? I think everybody thinks that way.
Oh, boy. Wow. That's very sad. Very sad. A couple more messages. We'll get to your calls. Somebody says here, in regards to the fire, it's a tragedy and my thoughts and prayers. I think we read this already. Yep, yeah, we did. Okay, this one. Which landlord would refuse a tenant paying the insurance for the property they have the most investment in?
Which tenant going to live there?
Yeah, which one is going to take out the insurance and pay all that for this person?
Right.
And
so you'll
then
pay rent and the insurance for
and
the place?
then you don't get your money back when you do move. Why would
crazy.
Why would you do that? I mean, don't. That place can't be that nice.
That's a dream.
No way. No.
You can't even begin to negotiate
That's
that.
ridiculous. Why would I do that?
It wouldn't happen.
What? Am I a co-owner now? Is that
Right
what's
then.
happening here? I'm on the lease.
You better be.
You must be. Why would I?
Shares in the property now.
I'm never moving.
Right?
You can't talk to me anymore. What?
At some point, I can stop paying rent.
That's right. I got the insurance, buddy.
Yeah.
We straight. This is a
Good.
great partnership. Okay. In true fashion, we blame everything on the government's, including this fire. It's unfortunate that what people are facing after the fire, but we need to let common sense prevail, not political grandstanding at the expense of these people. Okay. Read that text while we get these calls. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. We've got some comedians who text us every day. You can tweet us, Facebook us, and text us, 422-4796. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Chester.
Hey, morning.
Dwight, bear with me for a minute. I want to explain something to a lot of people in this country when they talk about it's not the government job to take care of its people in times of crisis.
Nobody has said that.
Dwight.
Not one person said that. Not one person said that.
I'm talking about people in general.
Nobody's saying that.
Who even think about texting you or calling. I was in a situation just like that. And I can tell you, I can explain to you what I'm saying to you, sir. A couple years ago, they had the dump fire in Jubilee Gardens. I was living in Jubilee Gardens that Sunday. I was staying there. And when that fire happened, right, I called the MP then was Mr. Leslie Miller, better known as Portcake. I called Mr. Miller, and I said, Mr. Miller, you need to come in Jubilee Gardens now. The dump is on fire. So Miller, in return, told me that, hey, man, the dump always burning. I said, Miller, this ain't no ordinary fire. So he told me that he will come, but he said to call his daughter, which is Leslie Bryce. She was Miller Bryce. So I called her. So she said, D, she affectionately called me, take some photos and send it to her. And Dwight, when I sent her those photos, she came there less than about 10 minutes. And she called her father, which I told you, which everyone knows who Miller is. And Miller called Mr. Christie, which was the prime minister then. And Mr. Christie was on his way to an engagement. So Mr. Miller told Mr. Christie, say, PM, you need to come in Jubilee Gardens. It's a crisis, a situation that needs to be dealt with forthwith. So Mr. Christie came, right? And then Miller called Miss Griffin, Miss Melanie Griffin, which was the minister in charge of social service. And Mr. Miller told Miss Griffin, say, that's what, I don't care how you do it. I don't care where you'll find the money from on this Sunday. You have to put my residents in some place in hotels or put them in some place so they can have a peace of mind until we can resolve this problem. So with that evening, Dwight, Miss Griffin along with Miss Kwan, very nice lady from social service, they kick into action. Every person, Dwight, not the next day, not the day after, not the month. That same night was dispersed in different hotels because I stayed along with some of my family members in Lion Sharks and Cocoa Plums. So when people talk about the government is not responsible, Bahamian people, the government duty is to take care of its people, healthcare, and infrastructure. So Dwight, you had hundreds of persons was displaced for months, was staying in hotels. And the thing about it, the next day, Miss Griffin, right, told the residents to come to social service to get a voucher. And every week you are getting a voucher. Some vouchers was $100, some was $80. So this thing, Dwight, when you hear people talk about, oh, the government ain't supposed to do that, no, tell that to someone else who hasn't been through it.
You aren't talking about what that you're not. I don't think you've been listening to what people have been saying. That's exactly what they
Dwight,
expect.
I'm talking about the response to the people's needs. Why do you always do that?
You aren't listening. You aren't listening. That's exactly what people say should be happening. The temporary assistance in a crisis situation like that. Everybody agrees. What people are not agreeing on is whether it's the government who needs to go and rebuild these houses. Right, and rebuild and provide homes, permanent homes for the people.
Yeah.
Right, that's the part that people are saying. No, that's not quite what we're supposed to be doing.
The assistance has been given already, so it's not that these people aren't getting assistance.
And this is what the minister was talking about. You can come and get assistance if you need.
Also, your point is far different from these people who is not being affected by a government dump on fire.
Yeah. They are responsible for that.
Yes.
That was them.
That was the
They
government.
did that.
Yeah.
Their negligence. It's a very different situation here. But yeah, what you're talking about, that is what people are expecting to happen for these folks. That is what they should be doing for now, right? This is the long term is what people are talking about. Who's responsible for building back these places,
Look,
especially if they don't have insurance?
no-
So that's very different.
Nobody's
And
trying to
nobody's
stop
saying
you guys
anything.
from making your points. Just
Yeah, I
make
mean,
sure
your
the
ad
point
for
is,
the was very well received, I'm sure. But how full of
That
heart
was
and
a-
hope that administration was
That
for
was
the
a
people.
very important PSA just
Yes,
now.
yes, they were fantastic.
Yeah.
But you got to listen to what people say. They're not disagreeing with what you're saying. That type of assistance is what you would expect, especially if they caused it. Yeah, so let's not get sidetracked or confused. Right? Okay. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Mr. Strachan, how are you doing, sir?
Hi. Yeah.
Just how are you doing? Mr. Strachan, I intentionally wait to call to see your reaction. Mr. Strachan, with all due respect to you and Chester should be ashamed of yourself. You're calling people cheap. You're a cracking joke. People losing their house. Mr. Strachan,
You're not listening
really need
either.
to
You're
stop.
not listening
You
either.
really
You're
need
not
to
listening
stop.
either.
I
You're
mean,
not listening.
seriously? Oh,
You're not
come
listening.
on now.
Wow. You read a text message and suddenly we say it.
And we're not talking about the people in the fire. So you stop it. Stop it right now. And if you got offended by the sheep comment, well, then you know how much wool you are wearing. Okay? All over the eyes and the ears. Oh, should we take any more calls?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't have the energy. Oh, my God. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Dwight.
Hi,
Good
hi.
morning, Jessica.
Hi.
I disagree. They are listening. They listening. Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's
You
it.
could, yeah, that's true.
Maybe
they,
that's it.
They have a narrative that they need to push, and so be it, right? But I don't think the government should be responsible for rebuilding these homes. The government don't even know who owns those lands.
Right.
Right? The government is doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is making sure that these individuals get the assistance that they need. Right? And like a texter said, I don't think any political entity should be using these individuals for political gain in any regard. Right? And that goes for individuals that call on their behalf. Right? They should not be using these individuals to further their political careers. I don't know why an individual put their political campaign or poster on a dumpster in this community. Right after these individuals suffer all their loss. You think they want to see that?
Someone did that?
Yes.
Oh,
the same individual that made those comments on national television.
Oh, dear.
Put their face on a dumpster in this community. This should not be happening in our country. These individuals should not be taking advantage of in this manner.
Yeah.
Right? It should be a collaborative effort across political lines. It's about behemoth. This is not about your political party or your political agenda. Simple.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you very much. Very well said. Appreciate it. Yep. Absolutely. I mean, but anything now is fodder for the politicians. It's very, very, very sad. And let's take this call before we take a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight and Stephen.
Yeah, well, Chester's today.
Chester, oh, sorry. Good morning, Chester. How you doing?
Morning, good.
Yeah, man. Dwight, it's clearly these guys ain't understanding or ain't listening, man, because there's two different situations. Now, all of us know that the government has the responsibility of taking care of the citizen to a certain degree, right? But they two clearly different situations. Now, here's my proposal, right? You think moving forward, right? The government could probably legislate where it's mandatory for any property that is being rented to have insurance. And one other requirement is, like Chester said, a fire extinguisher. Because at the end of the day, right, these things ain't gonna stop happening, but at least we need to put some things in place, right, so that if something do happen and there's some negligence on behalf of whoever, we will be able to deal with that person. For instance, if you rented me a place and it was burned down, and you don't have insurance on the property that I'm renting, you should be negligent. You should have that should be on you as a landlord.
That's interesting. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we really have to look at protecting the landlord and the people, right? Because the government really don't have the wherewithal to protect private properties, especially private properties where people are making money from. You know what I'm saying, you guys?
Yeah.
You have a nice day.
Okay. Too, yeah.
Nice share all this.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, more of what's in the news today. We're going to get into what the National Security Minister said about the election and whether there is going to be an early election and why we shouldn't be reading so much into that memo sent to the RBDF. And if we have time, we'll get to BPL as well. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
It's never gonna be nobody's love. Never gonna need nobody's love but yours.
Wake up. Cash is what we have been using for generations, but it's no longer the only way to pay or receive money. That is great news for business owners. I'm Lasanya Mizik, Managing Director at RBC Royal Bank, encouraging you to find out how going cashless can benefit your business with faster transactions and settlements, better cash flow management, plus reduce risk of theft. Learn more at rbc.com/Caribbean/go cashless. RBC Royal Bank. Banking reimagined.
Stay a step ahead of technology with certainty and support from Custom Computers. Our know-how team is here to help you zero in on your next big tech purchase, finding solutions that take your productivity to the next level using only the best and most reliable brands. With 4 stores all across Nassau on East Bay, West Bay, Old Fort Bay, and Palmdale, there's no stopping you from stepping up your tech. Reach out to us at 396-1100. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
We are in an age of exponential change. The world is experiencing a technology boom where innovation is at an all-time high. What does this mean for small island nations? How can we adapt to the emerging digital revolution? Join 900 delegates from 3 Caribbean countries at one regional event to tackle the theme, Global Digital Disruption, Threat or Opportunity. The virtual RF Economic Outlook Conference happens on May 6th. Register today at rfeoc.com.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Talking to the people. Try, get them to go your way. Tell us not to worry, that we won't be led astray. So blind from signifying your opponents always lying. Think about the mistakes you make. I believe that America's at stake. You know, busing is the issue. Ow! Do you have a plan with you? Woo-hoo. If you have a plan, if you have a master plan, I got the vote for you. Hey, got the vote for you. Call me. You're the man.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan with Chester Robards on this Wednesday morning. All right, so we had quite a bit to say about this. I think it was yesterday, about the memo to the RBDF about getting people for the advance poll. And, many are saying that's another sign that there's an early election. Well, Marvin Dames, Minister for National Security, who's also responsible for the election process, right? He was asked about this, and he's the minister responsible for the RBDF. He says, don't read too much into that. Don't read too much into that. Take a listen to this report from our Jared Higgs.
Despite that speculation, National Security Minister Marvin Dames today insisting the public should not read too much into that memo, as it is customary for the RBDF to make advanced preparations for elections.
Only one person can decide that. Only one person. And that is the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
The memo, dated April 29th, reads, in preparation for the possibility of an early general election, you are directed to provide a listing of all personnel in your purview voting in the advance poll and forward the same to the base executive officer's office by Thursday, May 6th. Dames denied that he instructed the RBDF to conduct the exercise.
I won't read too deeply into that, as I said before. This is a normal occurrence, and I don't think you should be reading too deeply into that either. Only one person will determine the date of the election, and he hasn't yet done so.
In recent weeks, many, including members of the Progressive Liberal Party, have speculated that Minis is gearing up to call an early election. However, in March, the Prime Minister said calling an election is not a decision he plans to make on his own.
Everybody's speculating. Again, okay? But as far as I know and as far as I'm aware, this is not out of the ordinary. And I don't think that we should make a big show or a big deal out of it. Prime Minister makes that decision, and when he does, want to make certain that these agencies are ready in advance.
The Free National Movement, PLP, and Democratic National Alliance are quickly moving to ratify candidates. Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Jared Higgs.
Okay, it seems like our leaders take delight in this, in saying that that thing about only one man knows when it's going to happen, and they all, you can hear the smile, like it's so cute, it's so special. Only one man knows when the election is, so I can't say whether it's an early election or not. One man knows that. You know that. You know only one man knows. Is it just me, or annoyed at this, that we're still having this discussion after all of this time, after all the promises that were made about a fixed date? We're no closer to this. We are still in this limbo. I mean, clearly it's fun and exciting for some people not knowing when and speculating and wasting time discussing when it's going to be, because that's cool. Who wants a boring old, we know it's always May, whatever. I don't get it. But what are we going to do? Maybe it's because we don't express how disgusted we are by this. Or maybe it's because we aren't, as we get a lot of messages from people who say, what's the big deal? He should have the right to do this. But what do you make of that, folks? Here we go again. No mention of setting the date in stone at all. What are we to make of this one man thing? That's powerful. That's how we like it. That's the way we want it to be. Is that what it is?
Correct.
Okay. Tell us what you think. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Want to hear from you on it again. Only one man knows. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah. All right. So let's hear what you have to say. What do we do?
Wait for it.
Just
wait for it.
Wait for it. Don't make any plans, because it could be that same time you decide to take vacation. That same time we decide to have, okay.
But he said it's not going to be early. He said that.
He said a lot of things.
Yeah.
We've heard many things before, and it didn't work out like that.
And then, Dame said don't read too much into it.
Yeah.
Just read a little bit into it.
Yeah. Okay.
Not too much.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Glenn. How are you?
Doing well.
Good.
Wonderful. Earlier, a few moments ago, you spoke about us being satisfied with the one-man decision. But the one man told us that it's not only him one that is making this decision, it seems, in his cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it two different information coming from the same administration, sir?
That's what they love to do.
Okay.
It's always been like that.
And do you think that is fair to us?
Absolutely not.
Okay,
And especially when we were promised that this was going to stop.
Exactly. What are you taking us for?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You got college students, university students that is going to school. They hear you say, recorded in the back of their minds. You got younger people that you promised this gated community to. How could you think that we're stupid? Come on. Okay? This is the inner city. Okay? And man, we just tired of this. And here it is. We're waiting for a decision that you promised from 4 years ago. Okay, for us to decide on what day we're going to elect our government. Okay, come on, we deserve better than this. Okay, and then you could tell me, would you want 39 seats? What type of foolishness this is, bro? That ain't gonna happen. Okay, and be prepared. I want him to win a seat because I want him to face the questions that he's going to get in that next parliament. Okay, as a Marvin Dames, I don't expect for him to win Mount Moriah. Because, the magistrate said that he is egregious. Okay? We know what that means. Okay? And he's the only man we see this promote people when they do wrong. Thanks for letting me share.
Okay. Boy. Let's get to some of your messages on this. Someone says there will not be an early election. Well, you remember when we were told there was not going to be a 2-week lockdown? Well.
Files.
Well. Okay. Here's another one. I hope they are not the... Okay, that's something else, eh? That's a different one there. Dwight, people need to stop running on with foolishness. No one is blaming the government for the fire. Governments come their people rescue in times of crises. They come to the rescue of their people in times of crises. That was not just an ordinary fire. I'm sure. This one here. Notwithstanding a fixed election date, the Prime Minister will still have the ability to call an early election at any point. So what is the point? We will still be unsure if there is that possibility. He won't be able to do that on his own. He'll have to have the approval of the House of Parliament for that. If we do put in a fixed election date, there'd have to be a good reason. You just can't say, hey, everybody, I think we should have an election today. No. What's the reason? Is there a crisis? What happened? Right? So why do you want this just arbitrary power? What is that? I don't understand it. What do you think this is? You're fine with that. There would have to be a reason. That would be built into, if it has to be a constitutional motion, whatever it is, the law, it would have to be, we'd have to have this many people agree in Parliament, and there'd have to be this type of reason, that, some type of crisis, a constitutional whatever. That's easy. But not just because you I feel like it. Another one here. Since the minister says this is normal, why didn't any reporter ask him when was the last time this occurred? Hey, I mean, we are close. It is close, right? We are just about a year from when it needs to happen. So it isn't that far. And so, yeah. And maybe you don't need to read anything into it. But you're still not addressing the main issue that we don't know when the election is. And it wasn't supposed to be like this anymore. Someone says, this person again, you just save this text and just send it, press repeat every time. Eh? What's the big deal, Dwight? Pinling did it, Ingram did it, Christie did it all. Yeah. All the other prime ministers did it. Sure. Yeah, there used to be slavery too. And there used to be all kinds of horrible things. So what? Bring it back.
Just continue with it.
Just do it because they used to do it.
Yeah. With sound logic.
Okay. Yeah, just keep it forever. This one here, whatever happened to that fixed election day promise? That's what we're talking about. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Right? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so. That's the problem. One man making the decision. We are tired of it. We want set terms for the election. Mr. Dames, I can't stand how smug you can be sometimes. SMDT.
And term limits.
Yeah. Absolutely. Another one. Elections in the Bahamas are like having a birthday coming up and you don't know the date of your own birthday. A fixed date election will be for the people's benefits, not for the government's. It needs to be fixed. Yes, absolutely. I don't think they get it, right? We need to know how to plan our lives, right? Some of us do want to know
Birthday
what we
analogy
can do. That might be fun, though.
Yeah. I have my birthday today.
Yeah.
How
But
about
you see, that's all about you.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
all about you. And you do that when it is all about you and you don't care about anybody else. I don't care that you have a funeral that day. I'm celebrating my birthday this day. Yeah, so you better deal with that.
Yeah.
That's a very selfish thing to do. So if it were all your life, Mr. Prime Minister, then you could just call it whenever you want to, but it's not just about you. Okay, another one here. We would be having election yesterday or today. What now? That memo was timely and convenient. I'm not understanding you, but okay. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Oh, I'm gone. Yeah. We got a couple more minutes. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. People trying to get me to drink tequila. And more messages about that. Yeah, okay. Boy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But we will see how much longer they keep this up. One man knows, and smiling in our faces like this is the way it's supposed to be after what you promised us. So why should we believe anything you say on the campaign trail?
It's true.
You're just going to be telling us what we want to hear.
It's true.
Yeah? And what do you know about, in our final minute, what do you know about BPL and what they're saying here? Bannister saying that?
No idea.
No? Do you know what's going on?
No idea.
Is
None
it
whatsoever.
money? Did somebody not pay something?
I've heard all kinds of things.
Bad fuel?
Bad fuel.
Is that what caused the logistics issue? Do they have whatever? But any outages should be minimal, we're told.
Okay.
And for how long will they be minimal?
The time is minimal?
So they say.
Oh, okay.
But for how long? Will it indefinitely minimal?
Right.
Or just for a week?
Minimal, but for 8 months.
Forever.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Morning Blend Business, we're going to continue with what we started yesterday about the opportunities that home porting from the cruise lines could present. We spoke about what Junkanoo should be doing. Today, we're going to broaden that to more of our culture, music, other parts of our heritage. What are the opportunities out there? Are you thinking about it? And if you're not, why not? We're going to get into all of that this morning with our special guest. This is Morning Blend. Stay tuned. Morning Blend Business coming up.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is the Guardian News Network update on the hour. Hello, everyone. I'm Charlene Ferguson. The public is being cautioned against reading too much into the Defense Force's preparations for a possible early election, as National Security Minister Marvin Dame says that type of preparation is not unusual. A recent memo to the force's department heads requested the names and voter card numbers of officers expected to vote in the advanced poll ahead of the next general election. But Dames told reporters only the Prime Minister can determine the date of the election, and he said government just wants to make sure essential agencies are ready in advance when he does. In other news, government will resume its demolition of illegal homes in the farm shantytown this Thursday, but Public Works Minister Desmond Bannister says the same will happen in other shantytowns soon. Bannister told reporters he's concerned about the health issues impacting our people as a result of what he's seen at the farm. He said government intends to enforce the law as required in this country. And a 92-year-old man from Long Island has become the latest person to die as a result of COVID-19 in this country. The Ministry of Health indicates he passed away Sunday. Total deaths due to the virus are now at 211. There were 26 new COVID-19 infections Monday, 19 on New Providence, 4 in Grand Bahama, and 1 each on the Berry Islands, Exuma, and Andros. That's what's making headlines at this hour. Stay with us. AP Update is next.
Girl, Junior just showed me Bella Boy in his phone.
What you mean? He take picture of that good-for-nothing boy?
Shh, you don't want Bella here. You say that. You know she always say that's my good child.
So what he doing in Junior phone?
Oh, he there because the police looking for him. He on their wanted list.
Wanted persons in your phone now?
Yes, child. And when police want to find anybody quick, after something happen, they can send pictures direct to your phone. Go to Google Play or App Store and search for Crack Crime Bahamas, then pick install, and it will go straight to your phone.
There is also a section on missing persons?
Yes, girl. Everybody needs to get this app so police can tell us right away when these people go missing. Just like an alert system.
Yes, it has numbers for Crime Stoppers Bahamas, so you can call and nobody knows it's you. Call directly to Miami and give the information without giving your name or anything about you. I tried the other day, and when I hear Junior and his boys talking about where they hide those guns, I walk quick round the corner and call that number.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
Hello, sir. Your credit card bill is due. Hello, sir. It's time for your monthly loan payment. Tired of creditors pounding at your door? Sign up for a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank and consolidate your debt into one low monthly payment. What's more, you will also earn interest on a built-in savings account. The pandemic has curbed many freedoms, but at Fidelity, our focus is to help regain your financial freedom. Visit a branch or speak to a Fidelity Bank at 356-7764. COVID safety measures in place at all branches. Fidelity, we're good for you.
This traffic report is brought to you by Shield Insurance and Prudential Loss Adjusters.
A final look at traffic now. We've reached the high points moments ago, and for the most part, it's on the way down. Seems there are a fair amount of you that have been successful in getting out of those lengthy delays before 9 this morning. Gladstone Road, just about all out there. It's a mile up on the Highway 2. With the assistance of that $20 million roundabout, they've been able to clear over there pretty early this morning. Well, some minor slow-ups, of course, on $20 million West Lane, but then that's quite manageable at this point. Independence Drive, the east lanes into the roundabout, slows the East Street ride down a bit, and Soldier Road heading into that Wolf Road intersection, still having some slow-ups due to Burnett Road traffic. That's also trying to get through that same intersection. You've got some slow traffic stuck back on the Eastern Road, but once you get past Blair, it all clears up. Over there on West Bay Street, the ride-in is quite muddy right now. Once you get past Saunders Beach roundabout, it's an easier ride into the inner city. Inner city area performing quite well right now, just growing, getting ready for today's activity. In the past 24 hours, police investigated some 8 accidents here in the capital, mainly with automobile damages, but there were 2 with injuries. And at this point, we still have 6 people that are hospitalized due to traffic accidents. We are just in our 5th month of the year, and already police have issued some 800 tickets for traffic infractions. Another reminder to be alert while you're driving about out there. This National Traffic Report this hour being brought to you by the folks at Dr. Danny Johnson Associates at Foot and Ankle International, who offers the simplest and safest treatment for foot injuries. They're located Dean's Lane atop the hill at Fort Charlotte. Call them at 322-5402. That's 322-5402 for more info. With your Rider Sky look at traffic in real time, I'm VA N.
I'm Rita Foley with an AP News Minute. President Biden set a new vaccination goal to deliver at least one shot to 70% of adult Americans by July 4th. His chief medical advisor, Dr. Anthony Fauci, said just moments ago,
when you get to 70%, you are going to have a substantial impact on the number of cases per day, which will translate into a diminution in the number of hospitalizations and deaths.
He says the bottom line is clear.
Let's just get as many people vaccinated as we possibly can, as quickly as we can, and setting a 70% goal of adults with one shot by the 4th of July is an ambitious but nonetheless attainable goal.
Dr. Fauci was on the Today Show. Former President Trump finds out this morning if Facebook will lift its ban on his account. He was banned after the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol building. Facebook's announcement comes around 9 Eastern Time this morning. I'm Rita Foley.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Wednesday, May 5th, 2021. Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. To our Morning Blend listeners, I'm Dwight Strachan, joined by Chester Robards today. And we continue our discussion from yesterday. This time we're going to be looking at culture, heritage, other aspects of what we have to offer here in the Bahamas. And yesterday we looked at Junkanoo, but today, expanding the conversation, are you ready for the opportunities that cruise lines home porting here will bring? What are you thinking about? And if you're not, why aren't you? Are we prepared to take advantage of this, which begins in just a few weeks, next month with one, and the next month with another cruise line, and maybe more in the future? Well, what are we doing to prepare ourselves for this? And what is being done? We're going to be talking about that with our guest, Freddie Mullins Jr., this morning. But first, it's time for your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL. In your morning business report, according to BPC incoming Chief Executive Officer Aitan Uliel, the company needs more money, and 2021 will be a financially tight year for the oil exploration and production company. Bahamas Petroleum Company announcing last month that in addition to changes to the company's name, board, and management, it also plans a capital reset, including a 1-to-10 share consolidation and recapitalization to the tune of a $10 million open offer to current shareholders first. Uliel saying that at this point, the company has sufficient funds for the rest of its 2021 obligations in the amount of $16 million, but it needs more heading into 2022. BBC has estimated that the final cost of drilling Perseverance number 1 was $45 million, approximately $10 million over budgeted projections. In the wake of the failed well, the company has been revalued such that its current share price is now underpinned by the value of its production assets alone. Other costs are the company's Saffron number 2 appraisal well in Trinidad and Tobago, its project in Suriname, corporate costs, and a number of costs that remain to be settled from Perseverance number 1. You can read more about this in today's Guardian Business section. People are applying for the Bahamas Travel Health Visa as they get vaccinated, and far in advance of their planned vacation dates. That's according to Minister of Tourism and Aviation, Dionisio de Aguilar. He says that this phenomenon has added traffic to the application process. On Saturday, the Bahamas removed the requirement to take an RT-PCR test for people entering the country who are fully vaccinated against COVID-19. De Aguilar, speaking to reporters yesterday, said that while it's too early to ascertain whether the move has increased the attractiveness of the Bahamas as a travel destination, the signs are positive. Meanwhile, the British Colonial Hilton is beginning to see bookings increase for the weekend's Royal Caribbean International begins its 7-night cruises out of Nassau's cruise port. That's according to Hilton's general manager, Pablo Casal. He told Guardian Business that RCI's decision to home port in Nassau was a positive one for the hotel. Casal holds those sentiments because the cruise line has decided to use the Hilton as a check-in location for its guests. It's expected that some of those cruise passengers will come to Nassau ahead of their cruise and possibly stay in the country and the hotel when the cruise is over. Royal Caribbean's Adventure of the Seas is expected to set sail from Nassau for the first time on Saturday, June 12th, and then every subsequent Saturday for about 6 months. Casal saying that the Hilton is seeing now booking movements for the weekend's Royal Caribbean plans to sail. He said the next few weeks are looking slower than normal for the hotel, but explained that since the hotel reopened in December, reservations have seen a constant uptick. And since the national rollout of Sand Dollar last October, 9 authorized financial institutions have completed the interoperability process, allowing them to communicate and exchange funds among the various platforms. Central Bank Governor John Rawls says the focus now is linking those mobile wallet platforms with commercial banking systems before the push this summer to get more Bahamians using digital currency. Overseas, global stock markets mixed today in light trading, while China and Japan were closed for holidays. London and Frankfurt opened higher, while Sydney also rose. Hong Kong and Southeastern Asian markets declined. The technology-heavy NASDAQ composite dropped 1.9%. Apple fell 3.5%, and Facebook slid 1.3%. Google's parent company, Alphabet, dropped 1.5%, and Amazon lost 2.2%. Investors are watching corporate earnings and looking ahead to Friday's U.S. jobs data. Most economic indicators point to improving conditions, but investors are worried about renewed coronavirus outbreaks and a possible uptick in inflation. Remarks by Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen appear to stoke those worries. Selling on Wall Street accelerated after Yellen said interest rates may have to rise to keep the economy from overheating in the U.S. She later downplayed her comments during an interview with the Wall Street Journal after markets closed. Earlier, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell said Monday the economic outlook has clearly brightened in the United States, but the recovery was uneven. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Tuesday, your market movers. Bahamas Waste moving 1,500 shares, closing unchanged at 696. Bank of the Bahamas moving 1,180, down 15 cents to 144. Commonwealth Bank moving 1,490 shares, up 5 cents to 295. J.S. Johnson moving 1,000, closing at $15.50, unchanged. Consolidated Water down $4.13. That has to be an error, but closing at $2.32. And Emira Incorporated down 9 cents, closing at $11.37. The BISX All Share Index closing at 1,950.76, up 5.50. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. You're listening to Morning Blend Business, brought to you in part by Cash and Go. Own a business, become a merchant, and join hundreds of business owners who are getting paid in the Cash and Go mobile wallet. Grow your business with Cash and Go. We'll be back after these messages.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAL, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAL. Growing wealth for future generations.
Beulah, gal, can you believe this? We are now the patrol queens of the neighborhood.
We now large and in charge. So we need to check out what's going on in everybody's yard. What about that gun that we know that Junior and his homeboys just ran out? Can we report that too?
Of course we can.
But we could be in deep trouble if they find out.
We need to report what we see, Beulah. When you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami.
So then we can report everything? Guns, where they hiding the drugs, who shoot who part of which gang, or who disturbing the peace with the loud music and the motorcycles.
Then our neighborhood will be the best in the Bahamas, and everybody gonna want to come live here. And then our house price will go up, gal.
So what we waiting on? What's the number?
If you see something, say something. Let us all pitch in and stop the crime before it's your time. Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands. Or text us through the Crack Crime Bahamas app. Stop the crime before it's your time.
No bank on your island? Cash and Go mobile wallet now offers bank transfers. You can still transfer funds directly to any bank account using the Cash and Go app. Simply press the Transfer Funds to Account option in the menu and enter the account details.
You can do it at Cash and Go. Pay all your bills at Cash and Go. Send your money from Cash and Go. Top up your minutes. Cash and Go. Pay insurance at Cash and Go. 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's at Cash and Go.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Take that mess from off the wall. Give that baby back its ball. Leave other people things alone. There's other ways to get involved. Get involved, don't be no fool, stay in school. Let your mind become a tool. Church were made for fools to be. Locked away from society. Get involved, get involved. Get involved, get involved. Get involved, get involved. There's other ways to get involved. Get involved, get involved. Let's go!
We're back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards. And we continue our conversation that we've been having. We're actually having quite a few of these conversations over the past few weeks. But yesterday we talked about Junkanoo and whether this is the time to showcase Junkanoo now that we've got home porting, at least for 6 months, with Royal Caribbean. And has Crystal Cruises said how long they're going to be doing it? Is it going to be indefinite with them?
No, they have a finite time as well.
So we only have a short window to really impress these cruise lines so they can consider doing this more often. And we know what the benefits are supposed to be, that if people have to fly in here to get on their ship, to embark the vessel, that they may choose, depending on how far they're coming from, they may choose to come the day before and have to stay in a hotel or an Airbnb, or even a couple of days if that's the only time they can get a flight.
Right.
And that means they would need things to do, things to eat, things to see, and this could be a great opportunity for everybody, not just the merchants downtown, but everybody all over the country. But are you prepared for this? Are we prepared for this? Are you doing what's necessary to get in a position to take advantage of this captive audience that we're going to have as a result of this? We've been asking the question and surprised at some of the responses. Some people just don't even seem to know about it or haven't thought about the possibilities that this could be something for me. I've got my little food truck all the way on maybe Carmichael Road, but maybe if I were somewhere further north, near where these ships are going to be docked, I might be able to do some more business and be able to expose some people to the uniqueness of what I have to offer, and not just the food trucks, but other aspects of our culture. We're going to talk more about that with someone who's always been talking about this and what we need to do to really put our culture on the map, our heritage on the map. We've got Freddie Munnings Jr. with us. Good morning, sir. Always great to be talking with you.
Good morning, Dwight, and good morning, Chester.
Good morning.
My pleasure to be a part of this very important conversation. Good morning to the Bahamas and to those listening internationally. You know, Dwight, this is an ongoing conversation, and I am very pleased to have the opportunity to discuss it with you this morning.
Yeah, thank you for being here. All right, so you heard a bit of our conversation yesterday talking about Junkanoo, but there's so much more that we can do in terms of food, in terms of music, in terms of art. From where you stand, are you hearing people talk about this? Do people get this? Do people get it, that this could be a game changer?
You know, Dwight, over the last couple of weeks, because of the announcement of the home porting opportunities, we have had some informal discussion among some of the cultural icons and some of the cultural community activists over the last few weeks, as I said. But, you know, Dwight, this is far deeper than that for me. You would probably know, and you've mentioned, that for the last 2 decades at least, we have been agitating to respective governments that we must look at the tourism product And we must look at it from the perspective of improving it and giving the people a total Bahamian experience. The best way to do that, obviously, is through our cultural expressions, where we interact with the tourists and offer them the cultural expressions and or authentic products that we produce locally. People travel principally for an experience. And when you go to any destination that is touristic in nature, you will find that they emphasize and promote those things that are unique to that particular destination. For the last 50 years or more, we've been depending on our location and our beautiful weather and beautiful beaches and natural fauna in the country. Those days are over because people are much more selective in where they choose to go to spend their money and to vacate and to relax and have that experience. And we have failed drastically in that area because we have failed to develop the touristic cultural expressions that are known in the Bahamas. Gombe music, for example, which includes Junkanoo and Rake and Scrape. Junkanoo festival as we know it, our Gombe festivals, our dance, our music, our food. How many people who come to our country have the opportunity to really experience the authentic Bahamian cuisine? So yes, this is an opportunity, and you mentioned the opportunity that may be available over the 6 months. But tourism is our number one economic driver in the country. It's not just for 6 months. So yes, we will have an opportunity to perhaps offer a couple of performances, offer some food, offer some amenities while those ships are porting. But what about the millions of tourists who come as layover visitors in the hotels?
Right.
What experiences are they getting?
That is true.
So the fact that these couple of ships decided to home port simply because they can't do it out of the United States and come to the Bahamas is a knee-jerk reaction, and so everybody in the cultural community have to jump to attention and try to provide them some amenities and some experiences for 6 months.
Wow, well,
it's absolutely ludicrous.
Oh my goodness! Wow. Okay, all right. That's a great point. That is a very good point. All right, so let's talk some more. I mean, if we'd done it right, if we'd continued on the path we were in the '60s, where should we be? What should we be doing now?
Dwight,
and I know that will take hours, but let's talk about it.
I have had the pleasure of serving on the Orange Economy Subcommittee that was appointed by the Economic Recovery Committee. We worked diligently for about 9 months. We have submitted what I think are some excellent recommendations. As far as I am aware, Dwight, none or virtually any of these recommendations have been implemented to date. This was over a year ago, long before they start talking about home porting. And if you look at that report, and I would be more than happy to send it to you, I'm not speaking now as a member of that committee. I'm speaking as Fred Munnings, the artist, the producer, the cultural advocate, and a business person. We have failed tremendously. One of the first things we said to government, you must have the will. You must have the affirmation of the key roles that are played by culture in all present and future development in the Bahamas. No one has called us to consult with us about any of this, that, as far as I am aware, with regard to these home portings. We said, let us be at the table when you are discussing these matters so that we can say to the investor, here is what we require, here's what we demand if you hope for us to partner with you. What does a partnership mean? A partnership means that both parties must win. And each party must see some benefit that's going to accrue for that particular partnership. Not just a couple of jobs, or as you said, somebody who got a food truck may drive up further north on Market Street and hope that a tourist is going to pass by. That's not the way it's done. Mm-hmm. These cruise developers are spending billions of dollars. You heard the gentleman yesterday tell you that out of 100 options they had, they're now down to 3, and 2 of them are in the Bahamas.
Right.
What does that tell you? That tells you that the Bahamas have something that they want and need. So how do we negotiate to get fair value for our amenities and our concessions that we are offering to these people? We have something they want. We have location. We have the independence of being able to allow them to home port. What are we getting out of the deal? A couple of people selling some hot dogs and hamburgers or some conch salad on the side of the road?
All right, so you believe that we have to be, we can't go about this on your own. If there are business people out there, they have to have a relationship with the cruise line in order for this to be. Okay, so let's talk more about that. Why you feel that's important and how that should work.
It is most important, Dwight. For the past 2 years, I've been agitating to sit with these operators. I went as far as the Minister of Labor to try to arrange such meeting and the Director of Labor. I'm calling them out because they know this to be a fact. I have yet, or any of my colleagues as far as I am aware, sit at the table with these folks. We were told that they're arranging the meetings, they're arranging the meetings, they're arranging the meetings. And this was long before we started talking about home porting. Many years ago, we had said to the government of the day, if you are serious about us developing the entertainment, cultural industries in this country, establish an Encouragement Entertainment Cultural Heritage Act so that we in the industries, which is tourism in my opinion, can have the same opportunities as the hotel industry, as the cruise ship industries, and all of these other industries that see value in investing in the Bahamas. They have failed to do it. Why? We are business people. We understand business. We said if we are going to present a world-class product to these world-class operators, we must have funding. We must have access to funding. Right now, if I want to invest in the entertainment industry, I cannot go to any commercial bank and get a loan. To see that too high risk. I would welcome anyone who could take me to any bank in this country that would be prepared to give us some reasonable concessions to go into the entertainment industry. It doesn't happen. So we have to incentivize it. How do you incentivize it? By doing the same thing you do for the hotel industry. Giving investors the opportunity to access capital. I'm not talking about $5,000. I'm not talking about $20,000. We're talking about millions of dollars. Because if the cruise industry is investing billions of dollars, we cannot compete to offer them a product that's on par with a sailing resort, because that's what the cruise ships are now. They're not just sailing hotels. These are sailing resorts. So the ambition and the objective of the cruise operators is to extract every dollar that they can from those visitors on those ships. Now, when they stop in the Bahamas, they want to say they've been to an international port. Yes, that's good. But come off the ship, and they had told them, well, anything you see at the stores downtown, you come back to us, and we will sell it to you cheaper because we can sell it to you. Go and get the prices and compare, because you can find the same items on the ship.
You've heard reports of that?
You've been on the ship, Dwight. I've been on these ships, and I know that it happens. They will go on and they price the watch at a particular store, and they come back and buy the same watch on the cruise ship cheaper.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Okay? These things are happening. They got the port lecturers who tell them where to go, when to go, because they have these arrangements with certain places. Okay? Then they blame it on say, well, okay, it ain't safe to go over the hill, it ain't safe to go. Foolishness. I am saying, man, if we are serious in this country about developing the tourism industry, Bahamians must be owners. We have agitated to these major resorts, to the government. You must make available concessions to Bahamians to own facilities within these resorts. Now, one or two of them may be able to do that. We may sell some watches. We may have one or two little restaurants. But what about the experience? You go to the major resorts today. What experience are you having? Are you experiencing the Bahamas in food? Are you experiencing the Bahamas in music? Are you experiencing the Bahamas in culture? The answer is no. Once in a while, you may have a little rush out. That's not experiencing the Bahamas, man. What I mean is, give me the opportunity, or somebody like me and others, to own an operation in this facility where I could produce on a regular basis Bahamian experiences.
All right, so what would be the disadvantage if you had a restaurant downtown, you had authentic Bahamian cuisine, or you had a club where you're actually featuring authentic Bahamian music, live music, but you don't necessarily have the relationship with the cruise line? Why would you be at a disadvantage? Why could that not happen?
Well, that could happen. That could very well happen. But as I said, where can I go in this country that's going to lend me $10 million to build such a facility? No bank is going to loan it to me unless I could generate that money independently. And then once I would have done that, where can I get the concessions from the government that the cruise ship is getting, that Bahama is getting? Why are they going to make land available to me that they've made available to Bahama or to Atlantis? Are they going to make tax exemptions available to me as they make to other folks? See, these are the questions. That's why I said the Entertainment Cultural Heritage Encouragement Act. They will, that act will facilitate what I'm saying. I don't want you to just stick me on the end of the hotel, say, well, okay, if you own a restaurant, you could get concessions on bringing in one or two items, et cetera, et cetera. No, give me the same concessions that you're giving the hoteliers. Incentivize me to invest my millions of dollars. Let me be able to go outside as the foreign direct investor can do and bring in foreign capital. It's virtually impossible for me to do that today. A central bank have all kinds of policies in places that prohibit me from doing that. I can't even have a foreign account in another country. These are facts.
Yeah. Mr. Munnings, how do we turn the page on culture?
We have
How do we turn the
page
corner?
by causing those who represent us to have the will to take the stand that we need to take. Just because a cruise ship comes to you and say, I want a home port for 6 months, everybody's jumping through hoops. Oh, what can we do? What can we do in 6 months to satisfy these people, to make sure to encourage them to come back? What? Are you joking? You are making available to them billions of dollars in this port development that we have downtown. What are we getting for it? Hopefully a couple of jobs. What are we getting for it? And why do you build an amphitheater on the same spot where the cruise ship come in? How are the taxi cab drivers going to benefit from that? How are the other ancillary businesses going to benefit from that? I would say put it down by Clifton Pier and take a bus, take a ride, and as you go, you see, you tour the country, you tour the islands, and you stop in Baintown, and you have a little visit there, and you go down to Gambia, and you have a visit there, and you cause that money to trickle down into the country, where the Bahamians can make some money, not only the port operators. It makes no sense what they're doing.
We've sold the Atlantises, we've sold the Bahamas. What do we present when you talk about culture? What are we going to present to the people who come here?
We are not at the table, Chester. We would tell them, I will, if they want me tonight to put on a world-class production as we do when we go to New Orleans, when I go to China, when I go all over the world and blow these people away. But no, they want to give you $5,000 and say, blow these people away. They just came back from Vegas. They just came back from New York, where they've been to the best shows in the world on Broadway. But I got to blow them away for $5,000 with a scrap gang. We got to get serious in this country, man. We're playing. And as Pat Raming always say to us, the bottom line is we are confusing the hotel industry with the tourism industry. The hotel industry is not the tourism industry. The hotel industry is a lodging industry. The tourism industry, I dare say, is the entertainment industry, where you create opportunities for people to have an experience.
And we've just handed that over to the hotels
That is correct.
to do it for
We
ourselves.
gave it to the hotel, and the hotel dictate to you what they want you to do on their property. That's their property.
Okay. We're going to take a break, Fred. When we come back, more on this, and we'll get some of your calls and text messages in as well. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Yes, sir.
Get involved, get involved. Get involved, get involved. Get involved, get involved. There's not a way to get involved. Get involved, get involved. Let's go!
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAO, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAO, growing wealth for future generations.
Beulah, gal, can you believe this? We are now the patrol queens of the neighborhood.
We now large and in charge, so we need to check out what's going on in everybody's yard. What about that gun that we know that Junior and his homeboys just ran out? Can we report that too?
Of course we can.
But we could be in deep trouble if they find out.
We need to report what we see, Beulah. When you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami.
So then we can report everything? Guns, where they hiding the drugs, who shoot who part of which gang, or who disturbing the peace with the loud music and the motorcycles.
Then our neighborhood will be the best in the Bahamas, and everybody gonna want to come live here. And then our house price will go up, gal.
So what we waiting on? What's the number?
If you see something, say something. Let us all pitch in and stop the crime before it's your time. Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands. Or text us through the Crack Crime Bahamas app. Stop the crime before it's your time.
No bank on your island? Cash and Go mobile wallet now offers bank transfers. You can still transfer funds directly to any bank account using the Cash and Go app. Simply press the Transfer Funds to Account option in the menu and enter the account details.
You can do it at Cash and Go. Pay all your bills at Cash and Go. Send your money from Cash and Go. Top up your minutes. Cash and Go. Pay insurance at Cash and Go. 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's at Cash and Go.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
And time for your final look at weather for this morning. Here's what's happening. We've got high pressure across the island chain. That's going to begin to retreat, though, eastwards through tonight. We've got some changes coming. Beachgoers in the southeast Bahamas should exercise caution due to the rip currents along eastern shorelines in that part of the country. For the northwest and central Bahamas today, your forecast calls for variably cloudy and hot conditions with isolated showers and the slight chance of an isolated thunderstorm in the extreme northwest Bahamas, turning warm tonight. For the southeastern islands, mostly sunny, warm, and breezy, with a light passing shower or two becoming mostly fair and a bit breezy tonight. A small craft caution is in effect in the southeast Bahamas. Look for high temperatures getting up to 88 Fahrenheit, 31 Celsius today. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 73 Fahrenheit, 23 Celsius. In your extended outlook, that ridge of high pressure will continue to shift eastwards tomorrow as a cold front will enter the northwest Bahamas on Friday. Temperatures won't drop much, but it may be a little more comfortable, not as humid over the next couple of days. So for tomorrow, Thursday, variably cloudy and warm with isolated showers and thunderstorms mainly near the extreme northwest Bahamas. Friday, mostly cloudy and warm with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms in the northwest Bahamas. Partly sunny and warm with a few light passing showers in the central and southeastern islands. That's your morning blend weather check.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Take that mess from off the wall. Give that baby back its ball.
Let your mind become a tool. Church were made for fools to be.
And we are back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards. We're talking with Fred Munnings Jr., talking about the missed opportunities that we've, the opportunities we've blown with tourism in the country, and whether this cruise line home porting situation will change things or should change things. But you're saying we need to see the bigger picture, Freddie, that not just for the 6 months should we be putting our best foot forward, but we should have been doing this all along and this might have increased the number of people we have overnighting in this, staying longer in the country if we had touched up and brushed up on our offerings for tourists visiting this country.
I may, just to show you that I'm just blowing smoke, here's one or two of the recommendations specific to the cruise ships. One, close all forms of on-port entertainment, including casinos and shops, while in Bahamian territorial waters or at any port in the Bahamas. Employ Bahamian artists and artisans and entertainers to provide authentic on-board experiences, etc. Provide their passengers with information about local cultural activities available on shore and cultural activities through a local booking agency. Encourage cruise lines to revise their policies to allow all the marketing of all local businesses, regardless of whether a commission is paid to them or not. Mandate that the souvenir concession stands are 100% Bahamian-owned and private islands used by the cruise lines, and that the staff complement of these islands is fully Bahamian. Also, it went on to say the Ministry of Tourism should urgently explore the possibility of purchasing at least 2 cruise ships of our own. We have Bahamas Air. Or the government should partner with local people. Why can't we own the cruise ships? Or some of them coming to our ports. See, if we are serious, my gentlemen, we have a multi-billion-dollar industry in tourism. But what is our product? A couple of scraps from the master's table, put on a Junkanoo show here with some scrap guys for 10 or 12 members. I mean, do you know the cost of taking Junkanoo to Bay Street? One costume could be over $1,000. So why should we put on a little scrub gang with 10 guys rushing up and down and call that Junkanoo? That's a misrepresentation of my culture, man. That's an insult.
Wow. Okay.
We got to get serious.
Yeah. All right, we've got some calls coming in. Let's take these and get to some of the messages, and then we can continue the conversation. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, good morning, Dwight and Chester again. Good morning, Mr. Munnings.
Good morning, sir.
Excellent conversation. I really appreciate all of your points, Mr. Munnings. I started off yesterday with Dwight with some of the very same points that you're making today, and I want to add some more to what you were expressing to this morning. Dwight, you can hear me clearly?
Yes, we always can.
Okay, great. Well, just making sure. Look, man, as Mr. Munnings said, as I was saying yesterday, this 6-month deal, this makes absolutely no sense, right? No serious-minded investor who understands what business requires in terms of continuity and long-term planning will capitalize any business based on this kind of negotiation that this government has brought to the table, trying to sell it as though it's some panacea for investment in our country. This is a grave insult, and the government should have felt insulted to the core that Royal Caribbean has taken an initiative to shift from Florida, where they are banned from cruising for the time being, to come to the Bahamas only in the aftermath of that being banned on a 6-month deal, when we are supposed to be a leading tourism destination globally, not just in the region, but globally. In addition to that, Dwight, what we really need to understand as it relates to this deal, and on the flip side, because it can further hurt tourism in this country if it's not managed properly and effectively and efficiently. We need to understand what exactly is it that CDC CDC United States has put in place that has turned off the cruise ships, first and foremost, from being able to sail, and secondly, what mechanisms are they requiring of these cruise ships after they open up in July?
All right, so Anton, what are you
That-
saying? This
that
is a bad thing?
deterrent.
Just forget it? Everybody just
No.
what,
The point. Understand the point that I'm making, Dwight.
But we do have an opportunity here. It might
I
not have been the way
understand-
we would have liked it, but
Dwight, that's fine. That's fine. But understand the point that I'm trying to make to you. Okay, not because tourism is at a halt in our country right now, must we just run after anything that is presented to us. If you listen to Mr. Russell stated very clearly that they are using their advantage that they have right now in Grand Bahama, being the only tourism provider at a major level. They're using that to their advantage, and they're negotiating with Hutchinson Whampoa as it relates to letting them know they will not close the hotel until they
I
get them
fear that
what
you're
they
driving
want
us
with the cruise
further away from
part.
what we want to talk about today, Anton, but we get your points. Okay, it sounds like yeah, wow. Okay, Fred, I don't know if you have anything to say to that before we get to another call.
Points, as you said, but the point that I'm trying to make, Dwight, not that this is not a 6-month opportunity. Yes, it is. And those who can benefit from it, I encourage all of them to do the best they can. However, we must be careful because in this 6-month hurry up and get ready knee-jerk reaction, we want to present the kind of a product that's going to say, wow, I want to come back and experience more of that. Not something thrown together and the quality of which will say, boy, is that what they call John Canoe? I into that, man. 10 little guys rushing up and down with some scrap. And then what's even worse, we had no John Canoe last year, so the costumes that are probably more likely going to be used are going to be 2 or 3 years old unless they've been repaired. We got to be careful, I'm saying, in the kind of quality that we present. When we present our food, is it packaged properly? See, you're competing with the world because, as the gentleman said yesterday, these are multi-billion-dollar cruise ships, state-of-the-art.
Yeah.
So when that visitor get off that ship and have a Bahamian experience, are we at the same level of quality?
Okay.
We got to be careful.
Yeah, very much so. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Hi, good morning.
Freddie, good morning, my brother.
Good morning, sir.
I'm feeling your passion, Freddie. As you know, we both are involved in the entertainment business.
I recognize the voice, yes.
Yeah, I understand your passion for this craft, and you know, I concur with every sentiment that you have stated this morning. Let me also go on record, Dwight, in agreeing with Freddie that some of these concerns that he has been mentioning over the past many times on these talk shows have indeed taken place. The biggest egregious thing I see that has been going on for quite some time, and he has so often echoed the sentiments, is that the presence of persons who are in this industry, and that's what it is, has not been given a chance to even sit at the table to discuss these things going forward on how we're going to develop our entertainment industry in this country going forward. And I think it's just an shame. What's happening now, right now, Dwight, perhaps even unbeknownst to you and many Bahamians, is that you have a group of Bahamian entrepreneurs and those in the entertainment industry who are ready to go. They are ready to sit down right now, put together an authentic Bahamian review and just get all the parts moving and get it ready to go. But when you are not able to sit at the table to even discuss the plans on how to pitch this thing and carry it forward, you're not even given the opportunity to do so. We have many, and I'll close on this one point here because I want to give Freddie the chance to respond to this. You know, we have many professionals in this country, from the technicians down to the lighting operators and specialists, down to the theatrics, down to the costuming and everything. We are ready to go. We are looking forward to someone who's going to bring everybody together now and actually put together a Bahamian review and actually showcase what the Bahamian talent and what we have here to offer. Yeah. And that is what the guest actually comes here for. Okay. An authentic Bahamian, not just a review, but down to our food, down to our culture, down. When I say culture, I'm talking about the way we live on this island, the way how we interact with each other, why we are who we are. All of this plays a major part. Freddie, I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah.
But I appreciate your passion, my brother, because I share it with you.
Thank you very much.
Dwight, for taking my call.
Okay, appreciate it. Yep. Freddie's been saying that for years now. Okay, this is an interesting question here on our text line, Fred Wings Jr. Either the government seems to be lackadaisical when it comes to live music and entertainment in this country, or they just don't care. They don't give air, credence, or value to this mega industry. Have you ever heard the government address live music and entertainment in Parliament? Do you agree with that the government doesn't seem to care about that?
You know, in fairness, Dwight, I must say that the Broadcasting Corporation recently have dedicated one of their stations to play at least, say, 90% of their music, and that's a good thing. But what we need to do is address the quality of music that we're producing. We need to train our people. We've called one of the first things we put in our recommendations was that we must identify the Bahamian genre of music. What is it? What is the world going to know it as? Is it going to be Goombay? Is it going to be Rake and Scrape? Is it going to be Jonkano? But we have to train our artists. When we had a music festival competition several years ago for Bahamas Jonkano Carnival, 90% of the artists produce music what I call soca music because they don't know the difference. We said we wanted Bahamian music. 90% of our artists produce soca music because they identify soca with carnival. What I'm saying, man, we need to get serious and train our people so we understand what is authentically us, and then we project that. And then the Ministry of Tourism promotes that all over the world. It's like when we go to New Orleans, everybody wants to come to the Bahamas when they see Jonkano New Orleans. But do they experience it once they get here? The answer is no. When I go to China, I do the same thing. When the Chinese do they experience what I showed them in China? The answer is no. Why? Because we don't have the resources to do it here. And we said, we've offered the government a possible solution to the financing. We said, any business that invests directly in the tourism, cultural heritage industries will be incentivized by saying, for example, on your real property tax, if you spend $10, I mean, if for every $1 you spend, you could write off $2 in your real property tax. Don't you think that will incentivize some of these businesses that owe the government millions of dollars? Definitely. If I can spend $1 in the tourism industry and I could write off $2 of my real property tax? Give me some concessions of 20 years exemption from this particular tax or not paying the fees, etc., etc. Don't you think some of our mega businesses will take advantage of that as they do in other areas? We said to them, we have some people who are interested in opening banks in this country. They can't even open a bank. And they got the resources. Some of these are my personal friends who are in a certain particular kind of business. Be serious, Dwight.
Yeah. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi, good morning.
Yes, good morning. C. Alan Johnson. Just quickly, I hear Freddie and I hear the others, right? I just want to advise them that the world they knew is no longer existing. I know the central bank has this idea of not going out of the country. It's unenforceable because with method. If you use the methods they do, you will be subject to their rules. There's nothing illegal in bypassing, not bypassing, but utilizing the tools. Recognizing that the hospitality industry is a multi-billion-dollar organization, there is legitimate methods. In fact, the government has changed some laws. The problem is that no one is talking about it, and you're being drowned out by the noise of the past. It's amazing that we take a guy that doesn't speak Italian, put him in the House of Assembly, and says, good, now interpret Italian and write in Italian for us. We knew who these people was and their capabilities and their understanding of industries before we put them there. The question we have to ask is where the billions of dollars we are spending for the people in the background, the civil service and advisors. So what I'm simply saying is the conversation concerning raising capital, owning it, we could compete with the cruise ships. We could drive them out of the Bahamas just by having a better product, having hotels and bed and breakfast and all these different things. But what we have to do is that take control of governance, change the narrative, and build into the future. But talking how we could dress up the old methods that we use is not going to get it. The world is ready for disruption.
Okay, thanks a lot. Here's a text here. Someone says, now, I do own a food truck, and I would like to take my food truck downtown to get more business based on this new venture. But what are the steps? Who do I contact? So the people who are thinking like that aren't even hearing about that.
Yeah, that's the other problem, Dwight. Dissemination of information. Now, I understand that there is a department in the Ministry of Tourism that is dealing specifically with this, so I would encourage that person to get in touch with the Ministry of Tourism and speak to whoever's in charge of the Tourism Development Corporation.
Yeah. And probably check with the Small Business Development Center,
Yes, of
Access
course.
Accelerator.
There are people in place, It's just that, like I say, the information is not trickling down to those who really need to take advantage of it. We need to do a better job of promoting these opportunities. But yes, let me on a positive note. Yes, it's a good thing. I wish that we can certainly develop it to the point where these crews will see the benefit of home porting in the Bahamas. But that will only happen, Dwight, if we have the product and the expertise and the resources to cause the visitor to have the experience. That's what's going to drive it. But you cannot do that in 6 months and then you give your 6 weeks before they start to say, okay, y'all get your act together now. When they have been planning for years.
Right.
And have all the resources. Heard the man, he said they lost billions of dollars over the last year of not operating. Billions.
We hope people are paying attention. That there are so many opportunities here. We do need to change the way we've been thinking, the way we have mismanaged the tourism industry here. We have a lot of work to do to get back on track and to catch up with others who've left us behind in the dust in the region and in the world. And we hope that what you're saying, Freddie, and what we've been talking about will wake people up. We've got to do something.
Dwight would like to say before we end, I know we're just about out of time. Those who have aspirations to represent us in the halls of Parliament, you must have the will to make decisions for the betterment of Bahamians in the Bahamas. And there are people like me and others who are willing to stand with you. But you gotta get past your little petty foolishness, man. Oh, Fred Munn, is he only shooting off at the mouth? He ain't know nothing, blah, blah, blah. All right, after 50 years in the business, I gotta know some even is by osmosis. But not necessarily me. There are many others. I'm saying, bring us together. There's only one Bahamas. There's only one government at a time in our country. We are all one when it comes to protecting the interests of Bahamians.
Okay. Fred Munnings Jr., thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you for this wonderful conversation. Chester Robarts, always a pleasure. See you next week. And I'll be back tomorrow morning with Morning Blend Business here on Guardian Radio. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.